Hey everybody, before we get on with the traditional show, I just want to let you guys know that One More Podcast is sponsored by Haven Cottage Investments and Sabrina Parker, a licensed Texas realtor. Sabrina Parker has in-depth experience with real estate investments, such as making a quick profit through flipping, or getting a steady monthly income through rental properties. If you mention our podcast to her, you'll receive half off her commission rate for your next purchase or sale of your personal or investment home. Contact her today at 469-450-8855 or havencottageinvestments@gmail.com. Again, that's 469-450-8855 or havencottageinvestments@gmail.com. And now it's time for the next episode. Hope you guys enjoy.
It's hard to... Are we starting?
Yes, okay. What? It's hard to what?
Oh, because I thought we were still talking about...
No, we can shit talk people. It's okay. We'll just use code names.
Okay. No, we're good. I'm good. We were in the middle of a conversation previously after we ate dinner.
Yo, it was some
while
good
holding
food.
hands and touching dicks.
And singing Kumbaya.
Yeah.
And, I don't know, what else?
I don't know.
Blessing Satan.
Maybe I should say who I am.
No, first I have to introduce everybody.
All right.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the One More Podcast. It is Thursday in the mid-afternoon, not like Thursday at 9-10 p.m. when we tried to film or record last. I think this is episode 11. It'll be episode 12, I think.
12.
We've hit double digits, and I'm super excited. The goal is to hit 50, and then 100, and then 200, and then 300, and then hopefully make it all the way to what Joe Rogan has, and he's like pushing 1,030 or something.
Is he really?
Yeah.
Wow.
They had a special 1,000th episode, and it was really awesome. But yeah, welcome back, and with me I have...
Just Keaton.
Just Keaton. That's okay. We don't need to express. And honestly, it's so weird because, I even think Evan, the Evan on the last podcast, he was like, we don't want to say last names, but then 5 minutes later he talked about somebody and said their last name, and I think he did it unintentionally, but it's just last names, first names, whatever. It's we can't really handle or control.
I mean,
any of
like
that.
my name is so utterly kind of unique, just like Yuval.
Mm-hmm.
It's
I don't know. I mean, I've
only met
No.
two other Keatons.
Right. Okay. And
only one of them had the same spelling as mine.
Really?
Yeah.
How else would you spell it?
You can spell it two ways. One of them is Keaton,
That's
like
the correct
Michael
way.
Keaton.
Yes.
And then the other one is Keaton.
Really?
Yeah,
That's
Keaton.
weird.
Yeah.
Keaton. Did you pronounce it? Is it
Still pronounced the same
Keaton.
way. I don't yeah.
Okay. Interesting. I don't know. I've only met one other Yuval, and
Was he also Jewish?
yeah, he was, of course.
Of course.
Anyone named Yuval is going to be either Israeli or Jewish or something. So, or
have really hipster family.
or yeah, like a really like, oh yeah, we're white, but we're Islam, but we have a kid with an Israeli Jewish name.
Right.
That's speaking of hipster. Avatar 2's coming out. Do you know that?
Avatar 2.
Yeah. Remember back in the day where the blue
Like the
people...
James Cameron?
Yeah, the blue people.
I saw that they were starting filming, but I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
I
well,
thought. I mean, I don't really.
I think it's coming out next year. It's
Is
not
it
like,
really?
It's not now.
Because I know that James Cameron wanted to make like 5 movies.
Oh, I'm sure he has a whole cinematic universe story
But that's
to
like
tell. It's going to be the Star Wars.
The first one is so unmemorable.
Honestly,
like all I remember is the main character, just because the way the Avatar people said Jake Sully, like it was.
Oh, really?
Like that's the only reason why I remember. I can't remember the blue lady's name.
Uh-huh.
I know.
I don't remember the plot.
I know the Sigourney Weaver was in there. I know that they burned down a tree. That's all I know.
Yes, I remember that. But no, there was the main character was crippled, right?
Yeah, in the beginning.
That was why he was like, "We're gonna use you. You're the perfect."
Well, no, they were gonna use his brother, but then his brother died, so they took the cripple.
Oh, but no, well, because no, I mean, it is what it is. But it's because they're the same. It was tied bloodline or whatever.
Yeah, it was tied to like genetics.
Yeah.
Which they wouldn't have the same genetics if they're brother. Like if they're twins.
It's movie magic.
Yeah, just
movie
like how
magic.
there's blue people in.
Well, okay, so but honestly,
and unobtainium.
as like forgettable as the movie was, at least I mean, because the movie came out 5 years ago, 6 years ago?
It came out 5 years ago, I think. 2012?
2012, maybe?
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm pretty sure I was in high school when it came out.
Yeah, I think it was 2012.
Okay.
Maybe Christmas 2011.
That seems like a Christmassy movie.
Yeah, but it lasted for months, didn't it?
Oh yeah, no. And I was gonna say to that. As I don't know the movie and I don't remember the specific details, I'm pretty sure I saw the movie like 3 or 4 times.
Right. Because it was like a masterpiece or so.
Yeah,
or like,
yeah,
it was a
beautiful.
cinematographic masterpiece, and it made like it's still the highest grossing movie. I think.
I don't know.
I'm not certain on that.
I don't want to fact check it.
Yeah, but we should always just just have like a little computer where we could just.
Honestly, I need to whenever this starts picking up, I'm gonna bring on someone else additionally just to fact check.
Just to fact check. That's smart. I've seen other people do that.
Oh yeah, because again, Joe Rogan. Obviously, we have to always mention him. There's a guy Jamie who's literally he'll step in on the mic every now and then, but for the most part, he's pulling up YouTube videos, fact checking, doing
sort of like if you have like a stage department, something like that.
Yeah,
he's like moving.
He like the production manager type
production.
Video. Yeah. So, yeah, so we ate, and now we're here, and we've been kind of shooting the shit and talking about people, and
not real. Well,
I mean, I
wouldn't say bitch talking.
I mean, okay, so I'm a really loving person. Okay. I feel like for the most part, and Keaton, definitely call me out if I'm like straying off of what truth is.
Okay. I'll be crude.
Totally. I feel like for the most part, I'm a very accepting person. If I just meet you, I feel like for the most part, it's like, hey, let's be buds. And
right.
Whether or not that's sustained in the long term, that's up to the situation and who you are as a person. But honestly, I feel like I can be really shitty to people. And I would never, unless you actively provoke me and unless you say all this rude shit to my face and if you're actively trying to be not a good person to me, I'm not going to bark back.
Right.
But I'm going to talk shit about you behind your back like 24. Well, okay, I wouldn't say 24/7. But if it's brought on topic, I'm definitely not afraid. Just like for the example, the person we were shit talking, I'm thinking about it now. It's like, I don't know. I was kind of, at least I felt I was kind of mean. I don't know.
Well, I mean, so the way I've described you before.
Oh. Yeah.
As back in the day, whenever we knew each other more, was you were definitely, I would say, eccentric.
Thank you.
I felt that a lot of times you had like your eccentricism went into a bit of immaturity.
Sure. I'll admit that.
But it's been like what five years since we've basically reconnected. So
yeah. And that was because my mom was like, "Hey, remember that one guy?" I'm just kidding.
Hey, remember that one weirdo?
No. Did you ever? I don't know if
I went to your house multiple times. I met your mom.
Okay, then sure. I'm sure she'd be the one to be like, "Hey, remember that one person?" Because side story real quick.
Yeah.
Every time I'm like, "Oh yeah, I had this person on the podcast. Oh yeah, this person I've gotten back in touch with this person. Oh, we did this," and she's always like, do I know them? Did I ever meet them?
Right.
Blah blah blah. Did I serve food to them? Blah 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 blah. And I'm just like, I don't know. You know, just like, what are you? Chill out.
I don't know.
Like,
I now. So are we talking about your biological mother? Okay.
Oh, have you met my stepmother?
I have not. So that's I was just trying to make sure because I met your mom. Because that's whenever you still lived in Allen.
Oh really? Have you ever
Fritz?
Did you ever? It was the
big house, the one that had a bunch of secret rooms, and it was like it felt like you had secret rooms.
I mean, then yeah,
it had a movie room.
Yeah, that's the Frisco house.
Yeah, Frisco. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So I've been to that house.
Wait. Okay. Now I'm
times.
super curious because like, what were we doing? Were there other people there?
We watched movies. Uh-huh. There was a chick called Diane.
You are bad with the names.
I'm horrible with names. Robert went over once. Justin went over once.
Oh,
that was now
I remember.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. See,
that was a really long time ago.
That was. I mean, I was talking about it was like 7-8 years ago. Whenever I went over,
because I think we moved in middle school, and I was still.
Yeah, you were. Well, how it was you were planning on going to my high school at first, and then you moved to Frisco. And then it was like 9th and 10th grade, or like freshman, sophomore year.
We still kind of were in touch there. And so
right.
Yeah! Wow!
Yeah.
That was I forget. Do we play a game? Do we play a board game or something?
We played it. We played Dungeons and Dragons.
Do we really?
And with Justin and Diane, and they weren't into it, but we were.
Yeah, oh yeah, for sure.
Because we spent like we pulled an all-nighter making the campaign.
Do we really?
Yeah,
that's awesome.
And it was like that sort of thing, and it was just like
that's amazing. But yeah, no, I remember that was okay. All right. Anyways,
sidetrack from.
Was that the only time you came to the house?
That was the only time I ever came to the house. Whenever,
really?
Yeah.
Wow, that was. There have been better times with other people, so I'm sorry that was the time. I mean, it was. I'm sure you had fun.
Oh yeah, no, it was. I mean,
after,
it's certainly memorable enough that I remember it 7 years from now.
That's very true. I've explained this before. Like, I remember big details and big story. Like you say that. Oh, I was there when you spent the night with Diane and Justin, and I was like, oh yeah.
Yeah, you remember that. Yeah.
But if you're just like, yeah, I remember the one time that we spent the night, I would have been like, okay,
yeah,
it's believable. I believe you.
Because I have a very, specific. I remember details.
Yeah.
That aren't names.
Sure.
As a point, your roommate name is
Trent.
Tristan.
There you go. Trent.
See, okay. Now, so
you weren't really having a hard time. Come on, like
I know it's Tristan. Right. I know it's Tristan.
Okay, I was gonna say, it was like we reintroduced each other.
I called him Trent whenever I first came here. I was like, hey, you're Trent. Right? Because he forgot my name too. And
well, I think he was just doing that because you were an asshole about it. You're just like, hey, you're Trent, and he's like,
he said,
I think he knew.
When he first came, I remember details. He first came in. He was like, we can get him in here and he can dispute it, but. He was like, hey, I'm sorry, I'm bad at names. What's your name? And I said my name, and I said, you're Trent, right? And he's like, no.
In the car?
Yeah, in the car.
Yeah, but he, right. You said, are you Trent? And he said, no. And then he said, are you, what? He said a name.
No. He said, hey, what's your, like.
No, he said a name.
No, when he first got out. No.
Are you trying to dispute history with me?
I'm not disputing history. This literally happened about 30 minutes ago.
That's history. But. No, it was more than 30 minutes ago.
Okay, an hour
your
ago.
Your perception of reality is way skewed.
An hour ago, I'm sorry.
How much reefer? I'm just kidding. Yo,
0.
Oh, that's good. Good 0 reefers.
0 reefers.
No, okay. Well, real quick, the idea of remembering names.
Okay.
Is that because you're a narcissist, and I'm not like I'm bad at names too. So like. I mean, I don't know. Do you just value other people less that you just don't put time and effort?
No. It's hard. It's hard for me to. I can remember faces a lot more than I can remember names.
I think that's the case with a lot of people though.
But it's definitely happened much more recently that I've started forgetting names, and I think it's because I
just a busy life. You don't give a shit.
No, it's just like. I still remember people from high school. I still remember their names, and I still remember what they're like. But it's like in college, and you see one person for one semester, and then you never see them again.
That's true.
And it's a sort of thing where it's just like after a while, my brain just was sort of like, okay, you know what? Stop trying to keep track of the 100 different people in your 4 different classes.
Yeah, I do agree. I think when you hit college, and especially because I think high school is a lot more personable, and because you have like the group work and the whatever and the class discussion,
and you're there every day.
That is true. You are
with
there
basically
every day.
The same people. Yeah.
No, I can see that. I don't know. I just for me, it's
narcissistic, man.
Well, no, I was gonna say I'm bad with names too, so you could potentially call me a narcissist, but
that's not really narcissistic properties though. That's just shit memory.
No, because there are some people who are like. And no, I'm not trying to like shit on you, but like the whole, I'm only going to see you one semester,
right,
whatever.
Right.
There's no real reason for me to put a lot of memory into it. But I mean, some people are like that. Some people will just be like, this is a genuine connection that I'm trying to make here, and sure, we won't ever see each other ever again. But
I don't actively do that. There's one class that I'm absolutely doing it this semester.
Oh yeah,
because it's a mechanical engineering class, and I'm not a mechanical enengineering person,
okay.
So I already know no one.
Sure.
And I'm already getting kind of worried because I don't know anyone in there still. Except for one chick. I remember chicks' names.
There you go. That's a different reason. Though.
That's an absolutely different reason. There's
Well, how long has school been? I don't know.
6 weeks.
I dropped out of school so long ago that I don't remember.
I mean, you dropped out 3rd grade, didn't you?
I did.
Yeah.
I've been on the street my whole life, and finally now I'm living in a room.
Can I get some change? No, yeah. School's 6 weeks. For me, I think 6 or 7. We started early. We started
2 months.
We started really early though.
Oh, is that just a UTD thing, or is that?
Oh yeah, that's a UTD thing.
Oh, okay,
just UTD.
But you get out early.
We get our exams end on the 3rd day of December. So it's like where other people get out like mid
mid-September,
December.
yeah.
Like mine's I'm out there, but then I come back like the second week of January where people have an extra week.
Sure.
But then I get out. My exams like next year, my finals are in April.
Oh,
so
okay.
it's like,
oh wow, yeah, I think ours was in May, like May 10th. I
yeah,
think.
exactly. That's like the sort of thing where people go to school 2 weeks after me, and I'm
Sure.
already there.
Oh,
I don't
dang.
understand why, but
Okay, I don't know. I guess a different schedule, but no, I get that, and I mean honestly, for my last classes that I was taking, I was able to kind of form a group, and so out of the hundreds of people, well, I don't say hundreds, but out of the couple hundred people that were in at least my grade level doing the BCIS course,
right.
I probably was able to get a group of 10 people that like, because since you're in the upper level classes are so few and far between,
Right.
you're able to just say, okay, I know Greg, Jared, Jackie, Angie, whatever, blah blah blah,
And
blah,
the
blah.
rest of the Brady Bunch.
Yeah, exactly. And so I'd remember those. But
Right.
You point to a guy who's like, hey, I've been in like 7 of your
I've
classes.
been in every one of your classes every year, and it's like, oh,
Sure.
because it's really that sort of thing. Like for example, I only have basically a semester and a half left, and this is the only mechanical engineering class I'm taking, and I'm taking it just because I thought it sounded interesting.
Okay.
So I know no one in there except for like one person who I didn't like.
Uh-huh.
He was in my physics class.
Uh-huh.
All I remember about him is that he wears stupid crop riding boots, like horse riding boots, everywhere.
That's weird.
And I tried to ask him, hey, why do you wear those boots every day? And he says, oh, they look good. And I'm like, right, but they're horse riding boots.
Does he ride a horse to school?
No, I don't know why he does that. And he wears it with his jeans tucked into the boots or whatever he's wearing tucked into the boots.
Ooh.
And he goes around and talks to every single person. And it's
well, like, is he nice or whatever? He's like, hey, how you doing? Or is it just
I don't know.
There's
It's like he changes his demeanor to every person when he's talking to when he's talking to a frat bro. He's all frat bro,
like,
and when he's talking to a chick, he's like he's effeminate.
Smooth.
No, he's effeminate.
no, he's effeminate.
Yeah, he's.
Okay.
I think I'm not trying to. But
Well,
so, God, I have a bunch of shit about this class, by the way.
No, you're good. You're good. I was just gonna say,
Yeah.
I think in high school I definitely did that. I don't know if it was as obvious, like, because with the groups that you hang out with and you're in class with,
Right.
they're kind of one and the same. Whereas with, I'm sure, in college mechanical engineering, you can have a diverse group of people. But no, I definitely was. I think I would say more words more often when I was with a certain group of friends, and then I would limit that if I was with a different. Like, I get that mentality.
But I think it's also the sort of thing where it's like I already have my group.
Sure,
they're chemists. They're not in this class.
Right.
And
So
they've known each other since freshman year.
Right.
So it's hard to, even as myself, for just even one semester, get ingrained with the group that they've known each other forever. So it's like it's hard.
No, I understand that.
I'm not trying to like dog myself, but
no.
I do need a group though. We have a group presentation, and I haven't even.
Oh, in the mechanical engineering.
Oh
class?
yeah,
that's what I was gonna ask. I was like, it's totally okay to not.
Oh yeah, no, it's I wouldn't even give a shit if it was like, oh yeah, this is just a class where we talk about material science and that sort of stuff.
Yeah, and then you just turn in your solo
and then
work.
you turn in your solo paper, or you do a presentation on your own.
Yeah,
I'd be perfectly fine with that. I have to do it with a group of 5 people. So, and I don't, and every person, because I've talked with people, and I've sort of like, okay, I have to put myself out here, and I have to say, hey, I'm a chemist, and I'm taking this as an elective.
Yeah,
I know that this is a core credit for you, but I found this interesting. Therefore, I don't know any of you people.
Sure. Yeah.
Can I be in your group? Like almost like how it is in high school, where it's like if you weren't with your group of friends, you had to like go around, or you had to have the teacher
assign you to a group.
Like, okay, raise your hand if you don't have 4 members.
Yo, for real, I was so scared that would always happen to me in high school.
Dude,
Thank God
the professor does that. Our professor,
really?
Yeah, because he's the sort of thing. It's like, listen, if you can't find a group, email me.
Yeah,
and I haven't emailed him yet, but I think I'll email him saying like, hey. So
here's the thing. Yeah, no, I was deathly afraid. And I mean, even then, in classes where I was just like, oh, I don't really know anyone.
Right.
I actively tried to, as fast as possible, and I don't know if this is because I'm eccentric or not, but I definitely tried to actively find someone, because I didn't want to be that kid standing in the front of the class saying, I don't have a group. Sorry, because then it's not we choose you. It's we're stuck with you.
Right.
So
man, that venom on the eccentric.
Oh no, I
was-
love it. No, honestly, I love the eccentric. That's a
No,
great,
I think
description.
everyone has that.
Fear.
Yeah, has that fear in some way where it's
Okay.
like you don't want to be left out of the group. But
Sure. I don't know. I feel like there's
I'm
some.
not
people
trying to get
who-
all philosophical.
What does it mean to be in a group? What does it mean to not care?
like, aren't we all out of our own groups? Like that sort of shit. No, it's like, I feel like, high school's a weird time, especially for people who are, not,
weird.
yeah, people who are not, they're not already in a group.
Mm-hmm.
Like I was lucky enough to be in band, which is basically just a group of
Big
weirdos. Yeah.
incestuous group.
Yeah, it's a big group of just people who all hang out together and
Yeah.
intermingle.
Yeah.
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 But other people, they just don't have that stuff.
Yeah.
And it's sort of hard to be like, oh well.
Yeah,
Even in the classroom, it's like, oh well, all the soccer people are in this class, so they're all
Mhm.
gonna bunch
Oh, yeah.
together, and then all the band people they're gonna bunch together,
Sure.
and the IB people are gonna bunch together, and I'm just stuck with, whoever the fuck doesn't want to be in a group.
Yeah, I definitely moving from Plano to Frisco.
Oh, yeah, you also moved too.
Yeah, I did move. Yeah, and I forget how much I talked about this on a previous. I honestly, it's like I'm just gonna.
We've talked about school before too. I don't think
Right.
we ever. Yeah.
But real quick, I literally had to force myself. Like,
Right.
I think it was like a couple weeks, and I was just like, I talked to some people, or maybe it was a week, but I talked to some people, and whatever, and I was trying to be charming and be, hey, this is an interesting guy to add to our group. Let's add him.
Right.
But literally, it was at lunch or something, and I was just like, fuck it, I'm tired of sitting by myself. So I saw someone, and I was just like, hey, is this seat taken? And he said no. And then just like that, I was part of that group.
Yeah.
And-
Well, so that's sort of, I have the sort of same experience as you because
Uh-huh.
I went to a different senior high school because
Mhm.
I'm sure we talked about how Plano has
split into
split schools.
I don't think
into
we
two.
specifically talked about how it's
Plano has because it was such a huge growing city. They
Mhm.
needed more high schools than they had, so they split some of the high schools into senior highs. So instead of it
Yeah.
being 4-year, you have high schools which are ninth grade, 10th grade, so freshman and sophomore, and then they feed into a senior high, and there's only 3 of them. There's East, West, and Central.
Mhm.
And those are like, just 11th and 12th, and they're huge.
Right.
Like normally you have, I think, 4,500 per
Wow.
per school. And
Yeah.
it's just 2 grades, and it's like that's more than some entire cities.
Yeah.
Definitely.
I think my graduating class was 600 students, give or
Right,
take.
right.
So yeah. No,
And my graduating class was 1,700.
wow.
So,
That's a lot.
but going with that, what my high school that I went to was going to a different senior high.
Mm-hmm.
So I went to one that
Oh, so you went to junior high with everybody?
I went to.
and
So I went to high school with everyone. I went to high school with Evan,
Right.
And then Evan, we were supposed to go to Central basically,
Uh-huh.
and I didn't go to Central.
You went to
I went to East, and
Okay.
so
Well, I think a lot of people went to
a lot of
East.
people went to East. It was like the year that they let us choose.
Oh, really?
Because it was because
of
after the next
dividing-
because after the next year
Yeah.
we switched to going straight to Central, and no one went to East.
Okay.
We were the last group that went to East.
Right, and that was a zoning
It was a
neighborhood
zoning. It was a
section.
zoning thing because we took some other school or whatever. I don't
Okay.
know. I didn't really think too much far into it, but it was a sort of like I had to basically. By that time, we were able to have off-campus lunches.
Sure.
And literally, what I did was I followed around one of the people who was who I was like, okay, he's kind of funny.
Yeah.
And I was like, hey, want to go to lunch? And I
Yeah.
drove him to lunch
There you go.
every day until he was like, hey, hey, I'm gonna take you to lunch, and then that's how we became
Nice.
really good friends.
Nice. Yeah, I had a similar experience because unfortunately Frisco didn't have off-campus lunch, but if you're at the CTE Center, which is an off-campus building for extracurricular stuff, like engineering and culinary and whatever. If you had 2 classes there, you had I think it was 40 minutes or 50 minutes to go get lunch. So.
Right.
And because they didn't have a cafeteria there, they were just like, okay, you can either be at your home campus. Technically, I could have just stayed on campus on my school campus and just had lunch there,
Right.
and then took the bus there. But instead, from second period to third period, I stayed, and there was a guy who was super chill. and we would always just go to like Sonic or something,
Right,
and
right.
just get food and then come back and then eat there. So I had a lot of good memories because it was really dope. So I'm glad that I experienced off campus.
Yeah.
I feel so bad for people who like went all
It's
4
horrible.
years
Yeah.
and have to eat crappy cafeteria food or
Because I even starting at the end of sophomore year, I was bringing my own lunch and that sort of stuff, and then I stopped, and boy, man, there was a Chinese food place that we could literally just walk to. It was about a 5-minute walk.
Oh, that's awesome.
So we didn't have to get in our cars, and we
Wow.
would just get $5 huge platters of fried rice and just eat that.
That sounds amazing.
And it's like an hour long. It's just like, oh yes,
That
please, baby.
so amazing. Wow.
I know, right?
But yeah, no, that's such a weird concept where, because, you know, I get that for middle school where, you know, you're in middle school, you know everyone, whatever. And then for the most part, the people in your middle school are going to feed into your high school.
Right.
And then, you know, a couple other middle schools will feed into that high school. And then you're still with the same people through high school. But I couldn't imagine like, oh, now half of you might go to East and half of you might go to Senior.
I think that was just for our case.
Well, but I mean, what about the people who were older than you? Wasn't it the same case?
No, it was just straight to East. Everyone went to
literally
East.
everyone.
We
went
were
to
the
East.
year that they switched. So they were like,
oh, wow.
you had the choice to either go with East or go with Senior.
Wow, okay, that's really fucked because
Because where the school was,
it
was literally halfway in between the two. And it was like, it was the sort of thing where they just was like, okay, they're gaining East is gaining a school. So to make it even, they're moving this high school over to Senior. Just to Central, yeah.
Okay, I didn't know that. Wow,
yeah.
okay.
So we were literally the only one that we really just were allowed to choose.
Dang. But I'm sure the majority of people went to East, right?
A lot of them went to East. It was like I think it was I'm going to say it's about a 70-30 split to East and Central.
Okay.
But a lot of band people went to Central. A lot of the friends that
Really?
I had went to Central, but a lot of them also went to East.
Oh, okay.
But I also didn't want to talk to any of them because I was done with them, and
sure.
I was an awkward child in 9th and 10th grade, as I'm sure.
Well, I mean, aren't we all awkward?
Aren't we all? Yeah. It's like growing up from middle school.
Yeah.
And then 11th and 12th you realize, oh, I don't have to be awkward.
You finally discover who you. Well, I mean, even then, I don't think high schoolers know who the heck they are.
Oh
so.
God, if they do, then they're idiots.
they're poorly mistaken. They have no idea.
Idiots. I'm saying idiots.
Oh, okay. I mean,
yeah.
I'm not trying to be as crude. You see, I'm not trying to be crude to people that I don't know. I mean, people I do know, I'm gonna talk crap about them all the time. So
right. I mean, I don't even know who I am.
Oh, really? Not even now?
I mean, I don't want to get philosophical.
No,
but
go ahead.
It's the sort of thing.
Philosophical.
I mean, it's the sort of thing where it's like when you're in college, you still don't know what you.
Well, I mean,
are like I'm certainly comfortable with
with
who I am, but I mean, your personality always changes.
Okay, I will give you that your personality has changed, but I'm talking about like in terms of a direction. In terms
of direction? No, I mean I certainly have my own identity now.
Okay.
It's definitely something a little bit different than high school, but I certainly have something set.
Sure.
But
I'm saying more focused on
okay.
If I say in 5 years, what's the plan? And I think we kind of talked about this in the last time. But you have that. You can give me I want to do this and probably do something around here.
Right.
And then I want to.
But I also had that in high school.
But how defined was that?
It was just as defined.
Really?
The way I motivate myself is I set future paths. So like in high school, I wanted to be a programmer. I wanted to program games. So that was my motivation to try to become a programmer.
Really?
And then in college, starting out, I wanted to join the Navy and become a pilot. And that was my motivation through college.
Okay.
And then whenever Trump got elected and I realized how poorly he treats soldiers
was that really
and sailors, that was extremely a thing.
Wow.
That was the contention point that I had.
Wow.
It was he calls POWs losers.
Does he really?
He called multiple POWs losers. He said, and I'm going to botch his quote, but he's such a piece of fucking shit that I don't care.
Is it POFS?
Yeah,
Dang.
POFS. That it's I like soldiers who don't get captured.
Really?
Talking about John McCain, who was in
yeah.
like Hotel Hanoi, and it's like I think it's called Hotel Hanoi. I'm not certain, but it's the POW camp where he was captured in Vietnam.
Okay, yeah.
Where
All right,
also
kinda
Sam
know history.
Johnson was captured as well. So it's like
I don't know who that is. So.
that's our representative to Congress.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
He was also captured
in
Vietnam.
No, I was gonna say senators.
House of Representatives.
House of Representatives. That's not the Senate.
Right.
It's a House.
House of Representatives. Senate has 2 people per
Yes,
state.
I know
okay.
how government works. I've seen House of Cards. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Wow, but that was
literally there was the like.
Well, so but what were you afraid of? Or
I was certainly not willing. I'm certainly willing, and if I get called upon, I'm still willing to die and fight for my country.
Sure,
but
that's a little extreme.
I'm not. No, but
I mean that's fine. That's
something,
good on you. Good on you.
That's something that I've always But if it has to be for a just cause. I feel like it has to be for me for a just cause, and
but I mean, like, sure, he's the commander in chief, and sure, he can, really urge Congress to push us towards war. But like, I'm just curious. What were you worried about? Like,
I was worried that if God forbid something did happen, and I was, in the helicopter that I was piloting, or the thing that I was doing, because I was trying to go for being a pilot, so I crashed. And I was now in enemy territory.
Oh, you were afraid he wasn't gonna.
He would do. I would not have.
You wouldn't feel safe.
I would not have the safety of knowing that my
country's
government is doing everything they can to get me back.
Really?
Yes.
And
because of
Trump is a POS.
Because it's the sort of thing where it's like. In every presidency before Trump, the presidency is the buck stops here.
Sure.
So you can blame the generals, you can blame all this stuff, but everything is still the president's responsibility.
Right.
Not for this one.
That's true.
And
that's
you could,
really true.
Yeah. And that's the sort of thing where it's like now it's the buck stops anywhere else. And that's the sort of thing that was really a point of contention for me.
Okay.
Where it was up until the point I was like, I can't. I wouldn't go with the same amount of passion and sense of duty that I would.
Yeah.
If it was still under
the Obama
administration, I would still try in a heartbeat.
Wow. Yeah. No. And you bring the buck stops here, and I mean I haven't necessarily thought about it that way, but you're completely right. I mean, I think, Bush and Obama and, at least in recent years,
right.
You always imagine these figures where if shit happens, they're taking responsibility.
Exactly.
But now, I don't think he would. I really do think Trump would blame somebody.
Exactly.
I think he would say, oh, it's the, I had bad information. And I think he has, and I don't know if I'm trying to spout fake news, but I think he has like, oh, it was bad information from a general or blah, blah, blah. I was misinformed by this person.
But even though you still made the decision.
Right. Wow, that's really scary.
Or it's the sort of thing where it's like, if something, I mean, again, God, if something does happen and we're in the middle of a crisis where, okay, like, for example, if we're in the Iran situation back in 1977 with President Carter, where citizens were held hostage, I don't even want to think about what he would be doing, like considering how he's so unhinged on Twitter and how
that's very true.
Like he immediately someone got like, oh, they're being held hostage by ISIS. ISIS is horrible. Says something horrible about ISIS. They all get beheaded because he said something.
Wow.
And it would be like, oh no, they just got beheaded because of blah blah blah. And then it's like, well, no, they got beheaded because you called them son of a bitches or something like that.
Yeah.
Which I'm certain that he would probably do.
I mean, he's irking on North Korea like right now. Like he's just poking
Rocket Man. Wait, they call him Rocket Man or Rocket Boy?
Rocket something. Yeah, I think it's Rocket Man. That's I don't know. I've up until now, and I don't want to get super political.
Right.
But up until now, I've kind of had a meh idea about Trump, and I mean, as long as he just doesn't kill us all, I think you can't necessarily be a bad president only if you start some kind of disaster. So
I mean, in terms of social stuff. He's certainly
sure.
causing a
So
disaster.
socially, as a person, you can consider him. Some might consider him a bad person. But what I'm saying, because I mean, you're how Congress and how our government works and
Right.
how the president works. It's so entangled in so many webs that you really have to be a super charismatic, driven person to change things drastically. And even then, it's not going to be, oh my gosh, you know, the whole entire Obama administration has just been wiped out.
Right.
All of the progress made through that administration is going to be, that won't happen. I think, you know, sure, we'll take some backtracks or back steps, or we'll maybe go in a different direction that we want to. But so, you know, one out of the 4 years and possibly 8 years that he has, I think at the end of the administration, you'll go, all right, he did a thing. He passed some legislation. He did a thing. Because I mean,
certainly hasn't passed any legislation yet.
that's true, and I don't even think he has any plans to it. I think
he
biggest
still
thing
wants
is the wall.
The wall, ending Obamacare and replacing it with basically nothing.
Right. Well, no, he wants to end and replace, right?
Repeal and replace, but what they're replacing it with is something that will cause 31 million
Right.
citizens to lose insurance, and
Right.
cause premiums to go up, and allow for insurance companies to raise your rates whenever you get ill.
Right.
So, but let's not. I don't want to get really into it because I feel like
Real quick. One last
okay,
thing.
yeah.
Have you read or heard anything about the travel ban 3.0?
No, I haven't. What are you talking about?
Oh, okay. Well, so highlights. North Korea is on the travel ban list now.
No
and
shit.
Venezuela's on the travel ban.
Venezuela, really?
Apparently, I don't know, and I know someone who has insight to it, and they told me that Venezuela is a real fucked up place right now.
Oh no, I mean, I have one of my friends who basically ghosted everyone. Nicky, he might be in Venezuela right now. His family's in Venezuela. He's from Venezuela.
Way to name drop.
But
So
he
it's
was
just-
talking about how basically they're currently under a civil war that's about to become a second civil war inside the civil wars, and it's like it's so utterly complicated that it's literally just anarchy at that point.
Well, I was just curious to know if you've had any input on it. Just I don't know.
Travel bans. I was never, because I don't travel, so I was never really that. I can understand why people are certainly like, it's the sort of thing where it's like, if it doesn't affect you, like a lot of people is like, oh well, a lot of this stuff doesn't affect me, so I'm not bothered by it. And you know, I don't like whenever people use that excuse to not see that a lot of things are going wrong.
Well, I mean, I feel like the not in my backyard mentality has always been a thing.
Right. But it's the sort of thing where it's like, you know, I certainly am like, oh well, I really don't. I understand that people are being affected by it, but it does not affect me. Therefore, I'm not as
adamant about.
I'm not as because I absolutely understand that some people are very affected by it. The friends and families are not allowed to come back to the country that they live in, and have lived in for a very long time. Same thing with the DACA or the
DACA.
I can understand that, but it's the thing that it just doesn't it certainly doesn't directly affect me, and I understand that it's bad, but I'm not active.
No, but I think
because like I've written several times to my congressman about Trump's military stuff because that affects me.
Wow,
that made me I would go on literal rants, just like it's maddening. It's absolutely mad. And the only thing that is keeping people in the military basically I'm generalizing here. Sure. Because I'm certainly
go ahead, generalize.
I don't that's like keeping people from like, what the fuck is this guy doing, is because you have General Mattis as the defense secretary, who is like, that's the only good person inside his cabinet.
Really?
Because General Mattis, Mad Dog Mattis, is one of the greatest generals of our generation.
I mean, you've already got me hooked if he's got a nickname, Mad Dog.
Mad Dog Mattis, yeah.
Well, okay, so I'm curious now.
Okay.
Now that you brought up that you've written to your our congressman before, well, first of all, I don't know. Forgive me for my ignorance. Now, you say physical letter, email. Okay,
email.
All right, that makes more sense.
Yeah.
So have you in the past ever written, or this just sparked a flame?
This was the thing where I was like, because he had his support
Sure.
behind him, and this was around the same time that he had doubled down on calling John McCain a loser for
Sure.
being captured. And I
really-
know that Sam Johnson was also captured. So I was
Uh-huh.
like, how can you support
Uh-huh.
a person who is belittling your hardships
Right.
as you served our country?
Did you get a response?
I
back?
did get a response. Yes.
Was it like?
He-
Was it kind of just like?
So-
thank you for the letter.
No. It was a personal letter.
Well, hold on.
I mean, it could
Was
have
it
been
written by somebody else?
I see.
signed off
That's
by
why I
him?
don't know.
Okay.
That's why I don't know.
Okay.
But it felt very personal, like it was
Really?
his.
Okay.
Because he did I think Sam Johnson. He's been here. He's been around for over 30 years. I think as our representative.
Really?
He's been around for a very long time.
Wow.
He's one of the oldest. Like
How old is he?
He's retiring. This is his last year.
Oh wow. Okay.
2018 is his last year. But he's been going as our representative for an extremely long time. He's one of the longest serving representatives in the United States.
Sure.
So I think that also went around with, because I'm certain that during recess he goes and reads every single one of the letters. that
Really?
people
You
send.
genuinely think-
If it isn't like, hey, you're an asshole and that sort of stuff. Because I sourced my letter too. I was like, I wanted to make sure that he would read it, because I was like, I wanted to hear his opinion,
Sure. Wow. Okay.
because even if I certainly don't agree with some of his views, he is still my representative,
Of
and I
course.
do feel like he has very adequately served my district
Wow. Okay.
over the past for a very long time.
Was his response? Do you think his response was enough of a response to like how
I
long
felt I understood, because it was, because I'm talking about like going with the fact it ties along with the fact that he's been around for such a long time, that he's been under multiple presidents, and he was talking about like, I've served under many presidents that some that I agreed with, some that weren't with my party. Therefore, I had to disagree at some points based on my
Sure.
party beliefs.
his constituents. Yeah.
And the constituents that because he's a Republican.
Okay.
Because it's Texas.
Sure. Of course.
Of course. But it was the sort of thing where it's like, I may not agree with what he says. The gist was, I may not agree with what he says, but I have to go with my party, and I have
Wow, okay.
the Republican Party that I am a part of is not like giving him a chance, but he
Sure.
has chosen him
You
to be
think-
our representative, to be our candidate, and,
Right.
and to be our president for the Republican Party.
Do you kind of benefit of
Therefore,
the
I have to
doubt?
keep in line in some way, and I can very well see that a person who's been there for such a long time, it doesn't matter what president you're at, because you're just trying to make your own bills. But
Sure. You're there serving your constituents.
Yes.
It's good to help in the big picture.
it's good if you have a president that you agree with.
Uh-huh.
But if not, just absolutely ignore. Like, you can just like, okay, I'm gonna vote with my party.
Sure.
Don't care what he says.
Okay.
That sort of
Wow,
stuff.
that's really awesome. I've always was under the impression, and for no factual reason or logical reason, but I
Right.
was always under the impression that our congressmen, especially your district congressmen, just don't like.
Right.
You get your voice heard at the rallies. Like you go to a campaign speech or something, and you say, "Hey, insert congressman person, I want you to do this," and he'll say, "Yes, I will do this, my
Right,
fellow
right. Well, see, I can.
constituent."
It certainly wasn't like I sent the email and then a week later he responded.
Oh,
to me. This was he responded about 4 or 5 months later.
Oh,
So
wow,
I sent
okay.
it. I sent it in February,
Uh-huh.
and he responded in June or
Oh,
July.
wow,
So
okay.
it was certainly a very long time.
Sure. Where you're like, who is this? Who the fuck?
No. I saw the email. I'm like, oh yeah, right. I did send him another email, and he responded, and that was the one he responded to,
That's
talking
awesome.
about the.
Well, I mean, I get it. They're busy, and you kind of have to.
No. It was the sort of thing where it's like I understand that
Sure.
it's not. You can't certainly respond to every email immediately.
Sure.
And whenever you're in DC, you certainly can't respond to your constituents
Right.
at a expedited pace.
Sure.
And you get the bulk of it. Like anything that's like, of course, you always have lobbyists and stuff. So you have lobbyists, and you'll do that immediately.
Uh-huh.
And then whenever you're at recess, you'll look at your constituents.
And so even then, that makes me think that it was him. I
Right.
have less doubt now that it was like one of his
Right.
representatives, because he could have just easily been like, oh, I got this email last week, go respond to it.
Right.
So wow, that's really awesome, but unfortunate that it took so long.
Yeah, I mean, it was a sort of thing where I was like, my opinion was already set. I just wanted to hear it from.
Sure.
I wanted to hear his opinion about the situation that they were currently in.
So do you respect the man enough to whoever Republican is running in our district, if he endorses him, you're going to vote for him?
Oh no, I voted for the other guy at the
Oh,
for this.
okay.
So I actually well, the sort of thing is like,
So do you vote blindly with your party?
No.
Okay.
No.
All right.
That's certainly not true.
Sure.
I voted for Greg Abbott because I felt like he was better than the Democratic.
You see, you know more about
Greg Abbott is our governor.
Oh, okay, sure.
I don't even remember who the other one was. He was a lieutenant governor previously, and he was going forward to lieutenant governor, and he was someone that I just couldn't go with him because he was.
How much time do you spend researching these people?
I certainly have to. I don't go in there as like, oh, he's blue, I'm going to choose him.
Sure.
I certainly don't do that.
No, I mean, I feel like some people, like 5 minutes, look up the highlights, and then that's it.
Right. No, I certainly, I feel like I want to be a informed voter.
Okay.
Because that's,
more power to you, dude.
Right. During the primaries, I helped campaign for the Democratic representative.
How'd you do that? What were you doing?
I went to the Democratic convention. I went to the Democratic Party place of Plano, and I was like, "Hey."
Oh, you just volunteered there?
Yeah, I was like, "Hey, give me someone that I can help." And they're like, "Oh, well, we have this representative who's going for the Congress." And it was like, I was like,
"So what'd you do to help? Just like you handed out signs,
make calls,
okay, you're just
make
like,
calls, say, hey, be sure to vote in the primaries."
Oh wow,
that sort of stuff, because it was a running against another Democrat for the start, like the primary, like the main election.
Oh, so there was only Democrats running for that?
So you have primaries and you have main elections. Yeah. So this was just during the primaries.
Okay,
and then
I'm on the same page now.
And then school started whenever the election started, like the election time started. So I wasn't able to do any.
How was that making calls? Where people were like, "Fuck you! Why are you calling my home?"
A lot of it was answering machines.
Oh, really?
You just say the same speech. Yeah.
Okay. So it was just like, "Hey, partner, how would you like to vote for Democrat?"
No, hello, this is the Democratic Party of Plano. Is calling to remind you to please vote on X day. And please,
vote for this person.
Please vote for the Democratic candidates.
Interesting. That's really cool. I've never done any volunteering on that kind of scale because I figured just vote.
Well, I also did that during that time because I wanted to have a bit of volunteering experience on my resume because this is whenever I was still trying to join the Navy and I wanted to be like, I do.
You did this for a selfish reason.
Oh, absolutely.
I don't know. I feel like anyone who volunteers, and I don't know how polarized you'd say this statement is, but I feel like anyone who volunteers always has a selfish reason. I
don't disagree with that. Unless you're getting paid for it, and like that's your career. It's not volunteering. Yeah,
right. You can do nonprofit, but you get paid for it. But
it's the same thing with like pre-meds, who is like, oh yeah, I'm volunteering at a hospital,
right.
Where like what they'll say to people is like, yeah, I do it because like helping people is my passion. What they're really doing it is so it's a good resume builder,
sure,
so they can get to a school so they can become a doctor and be rich.
Yeah,
9 times out of 10, I'm certain that there's some that are
and that's the thing. I mean, you can have a good heart and you can be a good person and be really nice, but I genuinely think people who volunteer 9 times out of 10 will do it for a selfish reason.
Right.
I think it's next to near impossible to find someone who's just like will put everyone else in front of themselves.
Right.
And again, you'll have those diamonds in the rough, but
yeah, unless they're truly
crazy.
I'm gonna say kind-hearted people, but
see, now I'm shit talking. I'm shit talking the good people, and
or eccentric. They're truly eccentric.
Hey, I mean that's true. Honestly, doing volunteer was so weird for me because
where did you volunteer? Did you ever volunteer? So, did you ever volunteer anywhere?
I have volunteered nowhere. I'm trying. Hold on. I'm trying to think. There was a thing. It was kind of off the beat sort of thing.
Okay.
And you wouldn't consider it traditional volunteering, but there was a project that I did with a friend, and we were essentially it was kind of like an after school activity for kids, and it was supposed to like help learning and kind of stimulate the brain and sort of promote young kids to executive decision making, leadership, blah blah blah. So But that was fun for me.
Right.
It was interesting. It was kind of D&D themed. And that was like a thing that we did for a while
Right.
and had an event and stuff. So that was cool. But like traditional, just like going to an old folks home, I've never done that before.
I've never done that either.
No.
All my volunteering stuff, I've gone and cleaned up lakes.
Really?
That was for a group that I was
So
part
you
of.
just went to a company, be like, hey, I want to volunteer.
No, we set up something with Lake Rockwall where
Oh,
it was
okay.
it was multiple different groups.
Oh, okay. Groups of like organizations or
Yeah,
groups of people?
organizations.
Okay.
Organizations and people. But that was like the one and only time I did it because someone set it up.
Oh, you didn't,
and
you
there
didn't
was-
actively.
Well,
set
I was a part of it, and I was like,
well, sure, but I mean, you're not like I'm Keaton and I'm gonna do this.
right. No, I was like, hey, I need volunteers, and about 12 people volunteers,
Gotcha.
and 3 people showed up,
Oh, really?
and not including the person who set up the.
Are you serious?
Yeah, it was me, the person that I drove, and then one of the seniors who was like the president.
Oh, wow.
And it was just us 3,
and
and it was just like, okay, you want to just clean the lake? Like,
wait. So then,
Yeah, let's do
how'd
it.
you find this volunteering opportunity?
oh, I had a longtime friend who was a part of it.
Oh, okay. And he was just like, hey, do you want to help?
He was the treasurer, and he was like, yeah, he was like, hey, you want to join? And I'm like, yeah, sure, I'll join.
Oh, okay.
So then I joined, and then we did that for about a year.
Okay, I actually, now that I'm thinking about it, you say treasurer, and I'm thinking fraternities now. I was in.
I'm certain that you had fraternity volunteering.
Sort of. It was more. We did it for our philanthropy, where
Okay.
I sat. I stood outside the. It was called the library strip, but it was like kind of there was a library and there was like a fountain and it was just like this kind of long rectangular area. And so I was over here. And I was just shouting out, yelling at people, asking for money because for veterans, and there's this program. I feel so shitty. I don't remember the name of the program, but it was a program, and it helped soldiers with PTSD. And specifically,
right.
it's like Israeli soldiers, like in the fucking pit of it,
Right.
helping American soldiers cope with PTSD and therapy and all that kind of stuff. So I think it's like Heart for Heroes or something.
Right.
Heroes for Hearts.
It's very that's.
Sure, it's
yeah.
it's a good
not,
cause.
Yeah,
But-
not to belittle what you did.
No, go for it.
You know what a better thing you could have done is you could have stripped on the strip.
Oh yeah, I could have stripped. on the
That
strip.
would have gotten you a lot of money.
Probably
Just get
not
a pole.
really. No, I'm very chubby, so I was gonna say fat, but I mean I'm not like fat, but I'm chubby, and that would not been very. There was.
I mean,
fit people who could have probably did that, and it would have been better.
I mean, you could have. I mean, you never know. Some people like the chunky monkeys.
That's very true. But I was literally standing on a pillar, and I was just like, "Hey, donate! Come on, you got change in your pocket." Blah 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 blah. And I hate those people.
Yeah.
and I was one of those people.
Yeah.
and so.
It's the sort of thing where it's like, hey, you have money, right? It's like, yeah, but I it's my lunch.
No, you don't need lunch today. Just help a soldier with PTSD. And now I'm trying to make you feel bad to
Yeah,
give me
yeah.
your money.
I mean, you're not. All right, you can. you can not eat a lunch. Come
Yeah,
on,
it's okay.
You can lose a couple pounds. Help a soldier.
It was literally that, and
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I think that was the extent, and it was so weird. Like, and I'm not trying to like shit on fraternities and stuff like
Huh.
that, but I feel like it's so disorganized sometimes where it's all like, okay, we're gonna have a treasurer, we're gonna have a president, we're gonna have a thing, we're gonna have all these different positions. But within my fraternity, I don't know. I guess it was just because it was really small, and so it's like literally everyone in the fraternity had a job,
Right.
and everyone had a position and a role where you have like the fraternities that have hundreds of people. You're gonna have your select 20 that'll be in positions, and you could just be a frat brother instead of like I'm the treasurer, I'm the whatever.
Right.
So,
Right. See, I don't know. I've never been in a part of a fraternity or
has Greek like never interested you?
never
at all?
interested me.
Okay.
It was something that, especially on at UTD where there's no frat houses.
Is there no frat houses at UTD? Okay, that makes sense.
You're just part of it.
Well, I mean, like, but I'm sure they have like someone's apartment complex will be like kind of the home, or do you know at all?
Nope. Everyone lives in their own little.
Oh, okay.
You just go together to some person's house,
Oh, sure.
but that no one lives. It's like their house.
Sure. Yeah.
I don't know. It was just something that was I never felt that I wanted to do that.
Mm-hmm.
I was already part of a group, and I was like,
Right. Yeah,
burnt out.
You don't want to spend $500 a semester. To,
oh yeah, just
Sure.
to go to parties.
Yeah.
And since I already hate going to parties, and I think I've gone out of the 4 years I've been in college. I think I've gone to maybe 2 parties.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
And
That's about the same for me.
It's just like,
Well,
I have to go out. And,
what about kickbacks? Do you like kickbacks?
I don't know what that is.
They're just more low key.
I'm certain that I've gone to people's houses. I'm talking about like.
Oh no, yeah, music playing.
Yeah, I've gone
bar.
to people's houses multiple times.
Sure.
So it's just this is like that's not. I'm introverted. I'd
No,
rather
I
be
understand.
with a group of friends watching a movie or.
Well, that's what a kickback is. Is a group.
Okay.
Pretty much, it's a group of friends, probably maybe 5 to 10 people.
Yeah,
and then,
I've done tons of those.
Yeah. Okay. Then there you go. And
Yeah.
Generally, alcohol will be involved or any other kind of.
Yep, a lot of alcohol.
Sure.
A lot of alcohol.
So you're admitting that you're an alcoholic?
Not admitting I'm an alcoholic.
It's okay. You don't have to admit it.
I don't have to.
No. I don't know. For me, it was strange for fraternities because, again, I was the same with you. I was like,
Right.
I'll find my group, and even then I had a group of people that I was starting to see and hang out with and stuff like that. But then, I don't know, they kind of just roped me in because AE Pi is a Jewish fraternity.
Right.
So I was just like, oh, okay, this is cool because throughout high school, I was like the only Jew. I think, yeah, no, I'm pretty sure I was literally the only Jew in Centennial High School.
Wow.
And that was definitely something that I didn't necessarily connect with anyone with. And so when they're like, hey, we're all Jews, and I'm like, wow, you're Jews that only speak English and you kind of read Hebrew just like me? Wow, I feel super bonded with you guys somehow. So that was something that connected
Right.
over, and everyone just seemed really chill, and it wasn't necessarily about the money for them. It was just like, hey, come hang out, we'll figure out the money stuff later. And I was like, okay,
Right,
whatever,
right,
that's fine.
I mean,
So-
hey, whatever you do, whatever floats your boat, that sort of stuff.
No, and to this day, I talk to none of them, so
Yeah.
it was a good experience.
All right.
Um,
Do you want to switch subjects to something that?
Oh, are you not wanting to talk about?
No, I feel like
I
I feel like we talked about school for the majority of.
and that's okay because that's part of our lives, and that's,
No, I know, but I feel like
you don't have to
I
be
had
loud. No, I know you had some really good.
I
You
had
had some
some
really good
stuff
talk.
that I wanted to
That's fine.
talk
All right, let's drop it.
Okay.
First topic.
So
First official topic.
first official topic since we at an hour in. It's been almost an hour.
Yeah, wow. Look
Yeah,
at
I have a
that.
clock right there, so I can tell the time.
Oh wow. Okay.
So
It's not your clock. It's my clock.
Right,
You have a
so-
clock right there. Is the correct form of that sentence.
I also have a clock right here,
That's a watch, good sir.
and I have a clock.
Is that a Fitbit?
It is a Fitbit.
Is it the Plus or Cert? No.
Is charge HR?
Does it do heart rate?
Yeah, it does heart rate.
Oh really?
My heart rate right now is please be 69. No, it's 88.
Do you use that a lot? Sorry, I'm going to talk about that before we go into your topic.
No worries. I use it to count my steps.
That's about it.
I use it as a watch.
Sure. Anything else?
Nope, that's it.
Does it have any? Doesn't it like track your sleep and stuff like that?
Yeah, I take it off
Oh, you. Okay. Yeah. Sure.
because I'm just it bothers me.
Yeah. No, you're right. No, I hate. Well, I don't hate.
I
them,
don't
but,
wear
like,
I don't wear watches when I sleep. So,
Yeah. No.
but I certainly it's
it's
good.
a thing
it's
that
it's
you're
good to
wearing.
keep time, and it's good to see like how many steps that I've
How
taken.
many steps have you taken today?
4,580.
I was gonna say like 400. I was like, damn, that's not that many
Yesterday I had 14,000
steps. Wow. For what? Just like walking around school?
at my job,
Oh, okay.
where I have to walk around school,
That's true. All right.
which is just my job. So
That's true. All right.
okay, so
Topic.
speaking of my job and stuff, I'm a chemist by school.
Yeah, everybody knows that already. No, I'm just kidding. I feel like everyone who's listening to each episode, it's like they'll listen to that episode, and that's the episode that they listen to.
Yeah, and then they'll stop.
And they'll maybe listen to one or two more.
Yeah.
But
so well, it's pertinent to the topic that I'm
Sure,
that
so
I'm
you're a
bringing up
chemist.
because I'm a chemist and I'm very focused on chemistry stuff,
uh-huh.
but I don't know a lot about anything else. So what I want to do is I want
Oh, I thought
to
this was gonna be a chemistry topic. I was like,
this
I
well,
was ready.
there's going to be a chemistry topic that I feel like we should
I'm ready,
that we
Professor.
can bring up. But
All right.
first, I want to talk about something that I know literally zilch about,
Uh-huh.
besides the fact that you use computers,
Uh-huh.
and that's cryptocurrency.
Yeah.
So
What do you want to know? I'm the master.
very recently, I saw an article saying something along the lines of Bitcoin has reached $1,000
Yep.
per Bitcoin,
Sure. I believe it.
and that everyone was freaking out, especially on the Bitcoin subreddit, which frequently goes to the front page of our all.
Yeah.
So I just want to know why having $1,000 Bitcoins is such a immensely huge deal that people are freaking out about it.
Mm-hmm. All right. So you ready for the whole spiel?
Yeah, I'm ready.
1 second.
Okay. Are you?
1 second.
What are you bringing up?
No, I just hate notifications on my phone. So.
Oh, okay.
All right. So the whole idea about cryptocurrency is the idea that the dollar. Okay, I'm totally generalizing, and I'm sure there's a lot of other intricacies within it. But headline news is the dollar will fail, and the only way we can live in a world is through cryptocurrency.
Okay.
And so,
But isn't so? I know I took a single economics class
Yes.
in college, and I
Yes.
learned about different types of currency. You have
Mhm.
gold-backed, silver-backed, and fiat currency. And I know
Sure.
that the dollar and a lot of currencies today are fiat currencies, where
Mhm.
they're just backed by the
belief.
that
Right.
that it's worth something.
Right.
Isn't cryptocurrency basically the
Same
same
thing.
thing?
Same thing.
So it's the same thing.
So it's the same thing. It's so the only difference here with cryptocurrency, which people believe in it and adds
Uh-huh.
to its legitimacy, is that there's a finite amount of cryptocurrency.
Okay.
So it's not like we can keep producing dollars and dollars and dollars and dollars. There is literally a finite pool of cryptocurrency, and the value is what people believe the value is.
Okay.
So I'm totally simplifying it, but let's say we have 1,000 bitcoins.
Okay.
So out of the entire globe, there's only 1,000 bitcoins for everyone.
Okay.
Okay. So you're gonna have a group of people saying, "Well, I think the Bitcoin's worth $200. I think the Bitcoin's worth $300." And just like how stocks work, where you buy a stock at a certain price and you can sell it at a certain price, and then depending on how well the company's doing and stuff like that, you can gauge on how much do I want to be part of this company. So theoretically, you'd want to buy enough shares in the company to be able to make decisions or be able to send someone to make decisions on your behalf.
Okay.
Cryptocurrency doesn't have any of those benefits because it has nothing to do with companies, but it's $1,000 because people believe it's $1,000.
Okay.
And so when you're holding on to the cryptocurrency, just like stocks, it's worth nothing. It's not worth anything until you sell it.
Okay.
And so the problem is, at least this is from some guy explaining to it, which, I mean, makes sense to a point. The problem is you're holding on to something saying it's worth $1,000, and it's universally accepted that it's worth $1,000. You're holding on to it. Well, these people are still holding on to it. And so technically they might have bought it from somebody or data mined it for it or whatever it is.
Right.
And they did it and it was worth $20. And so it's like, oh, now I'm making $980 off of this. Well, they're not going to sell it because there's a finite amount. And again, you haven't made anything off of it. So
Right.
Realistically, you can just think of the cryptocurrency and Bitcoin and stuff like that as just like stocks and bonds,
Okay.
easily
Okay.
like that.
Because the way that I when I first brought up the subject whenever we were eating dinner, as I said, is it just like a bond? Is it basically just like almost like a bond
so
where after 14 years you're going to get a little bit kickback?
You're not getting any kickback at all. It's purely you're holding on to it, and until someone buys it from you at a certain price, then you're not making any money.
Okay.
Off of it. So, I mean, you do see companies, and I believe Amazon actually, they're starting to accept Bitcoin.
Okay.
So you can purchase certain things for 0.5 Bitcoin or whatever.
So you know that like Alibaba, that was the first big company. That's a Chinese company.
Is that, I don't know.
Alibaba
accepts Bitcoin?
It was the first one to accept Bitcoin.
Okay, sure. Then
Or something like that. But that was like 2012.
Oh, okay.
It was whenever, because it was like the sort of things like, oh yeah, Alibaba accepts it. You can now buy, stuff from China at super cheap prices using Bitcoins.
Sure. Yeah, exactly. So same principle. I think Amazon's doing it. A lot of people on the black market will do that. You go to the deep web and you can say, hey, 0.5 Bitcoins and you get a kilo of heroin or whatever. I don't know what the fuck you buy it for, but yeah, no, it's definitely, again, it's untraceable. It's, you can use it being all sneaky. But it's value. It's like, in the person that I was listening to, he's big into gold.
Okay.
So, you're buying gold at a certain price, and then depending on what it is, instead of it being this non-tangible digital currency, it's gold. So
Right.
you have a pound of gold that's worth however much, and I think currently right now by the ounce, I think it was like, I don't know, for the sake of argument, $200.
Right.
And so it'll fluctuate depending on what's going on in the world. But at the end of the day, even if you don't sell the gold, you still have gold.
Right.
You can melt it down, do jewelry, whatever it is. Obviously, you're not going to do that because you want more tangible for the dollar bill. But what this guy was promoting was buying gold, and through this third-party facilitator, you can buy the gold. They'll there's legal documentation that it's yours, you own it, but they'll hold it at a vault. And what you can do is, just like with stocks, you can sell it, but instead of only being able to get US dollars like stocks, you get any kind of dollar.
Okay.
So you can get euros, pounds, whatever.
Bitcoins.
I don't know Bitcoin. I don't think Bitcoins. I think just any global paper currency.
Okay, that's interesting.
Yeah, so
I've heard a little bit about that.
Right, and so there's a dynamic about it, and I have an account set up for the gold, but I haven't done anything on it because I'm doing other stuff.
Well, I technically have a Bitcoin wallet, and I mined Bitcoins in 2010. And
do you have any Bitcoins?
I did it for 8 hours, and I got zilch.
Oh, really? Yeah. So
this was on my laptop, which was like which was like a Toshiba Pentium 2 or whatever.
There's actually in the news recently. I believe it was Stars, the TV
Stars
show
and another website.
Yeah,
but I can't remember. But it was a big website too.
Back end stuff.
Pirate Bay.
Was it Pirate Bay?
It was the Pirate Bay.
Oh, okay.
Where they
that makes sense. Yeah. Use your extra processing power to mine
instead of have ads.
Oh, really?
That's what the Pirate Bay did.
Oh, wow.
Instead of having ads and bloatware and stuff that you would like, because if anyone has used Pirate Bay. I'm sure, yeah. And not that I heard from a friend that if you use Pirate Bay, my parents even asked me to use Pirate Bay for them to get like, hey, sweetie, can you get me this thing? Like, yeah, sure.
My teacher always called it the Chesapeake Bay.
The Chesapeake Bay?
Yeah.
No, but if you ever went back to Pirate Bay back in like 2012, 2013, you always had to have some sort of antivirus thing because if you click on the wrong thing, you're fucked. You're fucked forever. So, I haven't been back on it since AdBlock sort of became the norm.
Sure.
So I don't know if there's any of that stuff anymore, but I know for certain that, I'm certain that they've sort of cut down on it, at least. I have a feeling. Because considering how much AdBlock is used, that they're certainly not getting any revenue for it.
No, I'm sure they've got to make some kind of currency. They've got to make some kind of money, and I'm sure they're doing all sorts of stuff for that. But yeah, so short and sweet.
It's like stocks, but also not like stocks.
Super generalized, yes. It's like stocks, but not like stocks.
That's good because that's more than I knew previously. Because all I basically knew is that all I keep hearing is Bitcoins keep going up.
Yeah, and again, it's.
But now that you said that it's like stocks, it makes a lot more sense.
Yeah, it's all based on consumer confidence. So literally. And I can't prove this at all, but I feel like the large majority of people who own Bitcoin who are like already millionaires. They're like the 1% probably own a large portion of Bitcoin.
Well, my roommate's friend owns Bitcoins.
Yeah, but like how much? Like 1 Bitcoin, 2 Bitcoin.
Yeah, like 1 or 2. Yeah, it's like the sort of thing where it's just like, he has like in total like I think 5. But he's like the broker for his friends.
Oh, sure. So he's got
Yeah, so he has separate accounts set up for his friends, and he manages them, and it's like he's like a broker and stuff. But
Well,
he's weird.
I was gonna say, if you asked me how to do Bitcoin, I would tell you I don't know.
Oh yeah,
because I know there's wallets, and then there's whatever, and then there's transaction stuff, and there's all sorts of things. I don't know how to.
You have to have certain, and I know that because. I remember whenever I started Bitcoin, it was like back in the day, it was like an 8-hour thing just to get it started to start mining. Because you had to download every single hash previously because they changed the hash all the time. Mm-hmm. So it's like a gigabyte and a half of of hash updating, and I'm like, that was never. It was like 5 years at that point starting, and now it's like 10 maybe 11 years now.
Yeah,
I'm not certain whenever it started, but. Certain it's going to take forever if you want to get started just now. If you don't already, if you don't go through a third party thing,
right? Yeah, that's Bitcoin, short and sweet.
Cool,
long and sweet, whatever you want to say.
Short, sweet, long, sweet. However thick and sweet it was.
Yes. Moral
is the name of my next porno. Yay!
Moral of the story: go into property.
Go into property.
Mm-hmm.
But isn't that a bubble? Doesn't that cause bubbles?
That was the reason for the 2008 recession, correct? But go to property.
Go to property.
You can if you have good debt management and you have relatively decent credit, you can do property, rent shit out, and just make money. Mm-hmm. It's just turnkey.
Turnstile.
No, turnkey revenue.
Okay.
You know what turnkey is?
No, I mean kind of.
Sure. Like think self-automated car washes.
Yeah.
All you do is you turn a key and you get all the cash.
Right.
So same thing. There's a little more management to property, but
right. But I can understand that.
yeah. So what other topics you got, big boy?
I had one other topic.
Yeah.
And I have to bring out my phone for this because there's a quote that I have.
Quotes.
So this was something that I was sort of interested in seeing what you were thinking about. So do you know who?
I want to tell you what I'm thinking about.
You don't want to tell me what you're thinking
No, I'm
about?
just gonna go ahead.
So this is more sciencey,
Ooh.
since as I've said probably 7 times in this single podcast, I'm a chemist.
Wait, hold on. Are you a chemist?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool.
So do you know who Richard Branson is?
Sounds very, very familiar.
He's owner of Virgin Airlines, Virgin everything.
Sure. Is he a virgin?
Don't think so.
Oh, okay.
Have you ever seen the man? Good
Did
God.
you, what's his face? Nicholas Copernicus died. The Playboy guy.
Hugh Hefner?
Hugh Hefner. Thank
Nick
you.
Filisk Copernicus.
I don't fucking know. Yeah, Hugh Hefner died.
Hugh Hefner passed. Yeah.
That's a tragedy.
90. It's not really a tragedy. He's 90.
Well,
I mean, it's that sounded bad.
you're pretty fucked up. Actually, it's not a tragedy because he mentally abused and physically abused all of his bunnies.
So I wasn't going to say that. I was going to say it's.
Well, I mean, you knew about that, right?
Yeah, I know
Okay,
about that.
yeah.
But if like people say it's like, oh, he died too soon. No, it's such a tragedy. It's like no, he's 90. That's a good point where you. It's
I mean,
I'm
honestly,
done.
he probably could have died at 50, and he would have had like more fulfilled life than probably a lot of people on this planet.
And more venereal diseases too.
A lot of venereal diseases.
Okay, so Richard Branson.
Hold on, real quick. Have you heard the scary stories that people would say, or like the bunnies that would say about Hugh Hefner?
I've heard some of the stories, but
It's crazy, fucked up psychological torture.
that was the
like,
first thing I masturbated to too.
Oh my gosh. All right,
No,
what
okay,
was that?
okay. Sorry, I have to sidetrack. Did you ever? There
Nope,
was a
nope.
2004.
Nope,
It was like
never,
2004
nope,
or something
nope.
like that.
Nope. Nope. Never. Nope. I'm never a paper guy. Never a paper guy. Always digital.
No, it wasn't paper. It was the 2004 New Year's Eve special on some channel,
I don't know.
and I watched it,
That's
and it was
great.
Playboy
amazing.
Mansion.
That's amazing. Congratulations. Let's move on.
Why did I just remember that?
I don't know. That's a good question. What were you? Because we were what, 9?
9 or 10.
It was probably like the first crazy not traumatic, but like the most insane thing you've saw.
They were just it was
women.
it was painted on bikinis and all that stuff, and that's
Oh,
why
wow.
why they were allowed, and that's
You're
what.
just
And
like-
Drew Carey was hosting it.
Are you serious?
I'm serious. Okay, I have to
Wow.
figure out what year this was.
That's amazing.
Because now I'm just like,
I love Drew
okay,
Carey.
Drew Carey.
Drew Carey probably had a really good life. Well, I mean,
This was
probably
whenever he
still
was.
has
This
it.
was whenever he was fat too.
Wait, is he not fat anymore?
No, he's super skinny.
Are you serious?
Oh, yeah.
I gotta look
Drew-
him up.
Drew Carey, Playboy.
Because I just remember him from
New Year's
Whose Line Is It Anyway?
Eve. Yeah, he was very fat.
I mean, he's still kind of large. Oh wow. Well, yeah, he's kind of. I just feel like he's old, so it's just like, oh no, he's actually really thin. Wow, he's.
Yeah,
really-
right.
I mean, he's old. He's old though. It's always funny. I take that back. It's not funny. But it's
Okay, I can't find whenever he did it, but I remember it was
it's
Drew
okay.
Carey.
You don't have to. Oh, you specifically remember Drew Carey?
I remember it being Drew
You
Carey.
were like, Mama, why is the
Nope,
same
Dad.
guy? Dad, why was the same guy hosting Whose Line Is It Anyway, but also did the thing with the naked ladies?
Nope, it was the sort of thing where it was like my dad was like, "Yeah, you can watch this,"
Oh, nice.
and I kept going to the bathroom because I kept feeling
That's-
uncomfortable.
Thank you. All right. But anyways, what was I gonna say? You fucking got me off track.
Oh, you were talking about Drew Carey?
Drew Carey. Oh, okay, I remember.
Oh, Hugh Hefner. Yeah,
no, not Hugh Hefner.
Oh,
no.
okay.
Sidetrack. So, it's really interesting to always hear this and think about it because it makes sense. But honestly, I've just never actively thought about it. Only until people bring it up, and it's like you never see fat old people.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like it's this concept that I'm like, you're right. That makes sense.
I think. Well, no. I think the thing is, you never see obese old people. There's a difference between fat and obese, I think.
Well, in this case, I'm saying fat people are obese.
But what I think I'm trying to say is, you never see obese.
Do you know who Boogie 2998 is?
Yes,
Yeah, like you wouldn't see him as an
he's
old
obese.
person. He is okay.
He's morbidly obese.
Well, have you been following him recently?
No, I haven't. Has he skinnied down?
He's done a lap band, not lap band. Some
Gastro
kind of
and
surgery,
gastro band thing. Yeah,
something like that, where they cut the size of his stomach, and so
Mhm.
he's lost. I think maybe 100, close to 100
wow,
pounds now.
good.
So,
That's really good for him.
and so he's gonna try and keep losing weight.
Yeah.
Makes me happy. I'm gonna see a skinny Boogie 2988, and then he will be
Meanwhile,
able to do.
my aunt is just. I don't want to. No, I'm gonna shit talk my aunt.
Go ahead. She doesn't know which aunt.
Fucking bitch.
Wow.
She's
Oh
horrible.
shit. Okay, you're not even. I thought it was gonna be a weight thing, but you're just gonna.
Oh no, she's also she's. Imagine what?
Marlon Brando.
No, what you would
Marlon Wayans.
the Willy Wonka chocolate factory, the blueberry,
Gloom. Oh, no,
the blue,
okay, the blueberry.
the blueberry, the
Sure.
expanding. That's
yeah,
what
yeah.
it's like. Every year she looks like she's gained 50 pounds,
Wow.
and it's
Wow.
it's scary. It's certainly scary.
See, and I don't know if this is a shallow thing to say, but it's like fat people shouldn't be mean. Fat.
Oh, yeah,
if you're fat,
she's nasty too. She's gotten that from my grandmother.
if you're fat, one, don't smoke, because there's a convention that I used to go to every year, Gen Con. I don't know if I've ever talked
Never heard of
about
it. No.
So it's just a gaming convention. You always see fat people smoking.
Yep.
And then I don't think you should ever be mean, because you
Yeah.
don't have your looks going for you. So why would you want to ruin your personality? Unless you're just comfortable with being an asshole, and then that kind of sucks.
Some people are just inherently assholes, and they're just like they just don't want to change it.
But are we assholes for calling them assholes?
Everyone's an asshole in someone else's eyes.
That's true. Because I just don't want people to be like, man,
These guys are assholes
they're
because they're shitting on fat people. Fat people have feelings too. Yeah, they do.
Is that fat shaming?
But
are we fat shaming right now?
I mean, we're not saying, "Hey, fatty, go
Hey,
get
fatty,
skinny."
don't be fat, fatty.
Yeah, hey, fat fatty, make a fatty. No, it's no, I don't know. I mean,
So we're not fat shaming.
I mean, we probably are in some way, but
I need to feel good at night, so I don't like stay up thinking how horrible of a person I am. So
I don't know. It's already been said.
have you ever oinked at a fat person?
No,
Good. Me neither.
never.
Me neither.
I
feel so bad for people who do that.
people have done that.
I'm sure.
See, those
have
people
done
are more assholes than the people who.
That's true.
Because it's the sort of thing where it's like, beautiful at every size. That's true. You could be listen.
Okay,
I'm not.
I'm listening. I'm listening.
There's a yes. You can be beautiful at every size, but you cannot be healthy at every size.
That's true.
There are because I'm certain that there are many women out there who are what they call themselves plus size, but they're actually obese, who are very beautiful.
Right.
But they're not healthy,
Right.
and that's certainly
And
something
that's not attractive.
That's not. I'm not saying that that's not attractive, and it could be not attractive to you. But
I mean, I said on the podcast that I think people who can, like women who can read fast, I find that very attractive. It's just a quality, and so if you're not healthy, I don't think that's attractive.
Right.
Because it's like it's going to that mentality where you don't give a shit about yourself, or you don't care enough to try. And I've tried. It's a genetic thing. It's whatever. And okay, sure, in some circumstances, yeah. But how did you get there?
Right.
You can't just tell me that from an average weight to now where you're at that you just magically happened.
It's being I used to be. I think I was on borderline obesity.
No, you weren't.
Yeah, I
you were
was.
chubby. You were chubby. I will admit you were chubby, but I don't think you were ever like fat.
I was. The most I was 275.
Wow, really?
And for reference, right now I'm 210.
Wow,
maybe
okay.
maybe 215.
Okay, well you hit it
because it's Halloween and there's a
okay.
lot of candy, so now
Sure.
it's 215.
Sure.
But it's a certainly gradual process. Mine came from a bunch of injuries that went year after year to the point
you
where
just
I
kind of
stopped
caring, or
Well,
you just stopped being active.
I used to play basketball a bunch,
Uh-huh.
and then I tore my ACL,
Uh-huh.
or I tore my Achilles. Is that the
Okay.
same? I don't know if that's the same muscle or
I don't
not,
think
but I
it
tore
is.
my Achilles.
Yeah.
Or I had a tear in my Achilles, and
I
I
had
basically
an
was on
injury.
crutches for a year,
Wow. Okay.
where I would still eat the exact same.
Sure.
But at that point,
You're just used to it.
I'm just eating the exact same
Without
that I
going
would do
into
whenever I
exercise.
was playing basketball.
Right.
So,
I understand that, but it's like there has to get to a point because like I've looked at myself.
For me, it got to the point of freshman year of college where when I started working at Starbucks because I decided when I started college, I was also going to start working.
Do you have like old pictures of yourself where you can obviously tell that you were larger?
If I had my student ID, you can see I have a double chin.
That's okay. That you bring that up. I'm the opposite. I was way thinner when you see my student ID versus now.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, my neck was skinnier, my face was a little smaller.
Yeah, you could absolutely see this going straight forward. I had a
really?
double chin, and now, I mean, I certainly don't now.
No, you have a triple chin now.
Now I have a different. Yeah, now. No, it's the sort of thing where now my stomach it's not bulging out anymore.
That's good.
It's flat. It's not inward, but it's flat.
Well, I think everybody's going to be like either
I'm certainly
I am super jealous of people who can sit down and they're like they just it looks like they're sucking their gut in, but it's just that's natural for them.
No, I'm certain that I have a bunch of excess
You're
skin that makes me
certain
that with my shirt I think what I get called is almost a skinny fat sort of thing, because with my shirt off I do have the bit of the rolls, but I think that might just be
I've got
skin.
boobs and everything, but it was really 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 interesting, a little fucked up, but there was a girl who apparently, and you don't even think about this because we've never gotten to this extreme weight, but those who are really, really fat, like the fingers are super grossly big and the hands or whatever, those who lose that weight and they cut it, you stretched out your skin. Yeah. That's just a thing.
It's
so
like
literally
literally what I like. I'm very certain that a lot of my belly, because it still looks like I have quite a belly whenever I sit down, a lot of it is still excess skin because I had that big of a stomach.
Oh, well, I'm saying like excess
but
skin.
like I've seen videos where there's someone who they literally have like 80 pounds of excess skin because they were like 700 pounds and now they're like at 280 or something like that.
Yeah.
But continuing what I was saying, like at that point I was 275 or something like that, and I started, in college I decided I was also going to work at the same time I was doing college, and I stuck by that. But it was at the point where I was working at Starbucks and I was getting out of breath by just walking.
Wow. Yeah, going upstairs for me at high school, and I don't know, I wasn't necessarily fat, but it was just like I wasn't active, so if I ever ran up the stairs, I'm just like
yeah. And it was the sort of thing where it was like I was in shape to the point where I was like, oh yeah, I'm in shape, this is just my natural weight, my natural weight level, because I did band and stuff,
right,
which you can slack off at any point in band and be able to do that. But whenever I started working at Starbucks and I had to walk a bunch and I had to do all this stuff and I had to be very quick on my feet, I was sort of like, oh, this is very different. So what I started doing is every day after working and that sort of stuff, I had an elliptical bike, or I had a stationary bike, and I just biked for 30 minutes while I listened to a podcast, or I watched YouTube or something like that. And I did that for 3 months, and then
Did you see a noticeable difference?
I didn't. Regular customers were like, "Wow, you're so skinny now," and I
really?
finally at the point I was like, "Okay, I'm going to weigh myself again," because I didn't want to weigh myself because I was afraid. It was like, I'm going to do this, and I'm going to bike for
however long.
I'm going to bike for like 60 days, and I'm going to weigh myself, and it's going to be a sort of thing where it's like, oh, I'm still 275.
Yeah,
I haven't, because I also watched what I ate and that sort of stuff, and I was like, I couldn't feel any different. And then I finally weighed myself and I was like 240 or something. Yeah. And then the next year I started running a little bit and doing 5Ks and stuff, and that's whenever I dropped almost all my weight, and I sort of stayed at around 210, 215.
That's awesome. I haven't weighed myself. I'm really afraid that I'm pushing 220, 230. I don't think I'm at that point. I used to be like 180-ish, and I actually, in high school, I hit like 200, and I was like, it was like 200, 210. I was like, that's not me. And so it was so easy for me after work. I would just go to the 24-hour fitness, work out, run, whatever, and then be done, and then I drop back to the weight. But I haven't weighed myself, and I'm so afraid to that I'm like, because, I mean, I don't think I look that fat. Like, I feel like I'm average, but, I'm definitely not.
Yeah. The way for me is that it's certainly a lot of, because I still consider myself slightly overweight. Yeah, and I'm certainly not healthy.
Sure,
but my job requires me to be active. Of course, having to walk 14,000 steps is a normal day for me.
Sure.
But I also have a very broad chest and shoulders that it hides itself in a way.
Okay.
But I do feel at the way I am now. When I was 275, I was certainly not comfortable with my body, and now I am comfortable with my body to the point where I didn't feel like I had to stretch my shirt and readjust my shirt to make sure my belly wasn't showing, or to make sure that I didn't have like my belly wasn't stretching the shirt, and it was like hiding that stuff. Now it's like, oh, it won't.
Do you naturally just suck in your gut?
Oh yeah, no, I naturally
Yeah, I do that too.
Like but it's the sort of thing like keeping it relaxed is just it hurts. Like
it does feel weird. But I don't know, for me, because I think it was, and I don't remember when specifically, but I think it was probably when I was in middle school, pushing on to high school. I just started kind of holding my gut in, and now I just do it like second nature.
Oh yeah, no, I've constantly I just keep it. But it's like that's like where I relax. I was like that's like my relaxed state. I feel like is where it's just like it's not like completely sucked in, but it's like at a. Now you're making me conscious about it.
No, and I'm pushing my. I'm like I'm not holding it, and it feels weird.
But it's the sort of thing where I think everyone does that because you see the people who are like really fit and stuff, and they'll just push out their stomach. Yeah, and it's like, but I feel like I'm pushing out my stomach if I'm relaxed.
Exactly. I will say in this shirt, I do have to like, because I feel like you can kind of see through my shirt through here, so I'm always like adjusting it. So, but yeah, no, I completely.
Yeah.
You know, we're talking about it, and I'm like, God, I have to join a gym. But I was at a gym. I was at a Planet Fitness, and I used to go in the mornings, and then I go to work. But then I stopped that after like a couple of weeks, and then I just paid money because I was in a contract thing. And
right.
I need to get running shoes, and I need to run in the morning because you said that when you started running, it dropped off. So I think
running sucks for the first 2 weeks, and then it becomes one of the best things ever.
Really? Okay.
Because the sort of thing for the first 2 weeks, if you run every day or you run three or four times a week, the only reason why I stopped running was because I got shin splints.
Okay.
Because I wasn't running correctly and I was running up hills all the time.
Oh, nice.
So where I lived at that time there was a 600-foot elevation change.
Oh wow, okay.
Just on one trail, and that was the only trail that wasn't marred by traffic in the morning or in the afternoon. So I was like, oh, I got to run this. But I would run, in the winter and that sort of stuff, and it was great because the sort of thing is like, for the first 2 weeks, it's hell. It's awful. You feel like shit. You don't want to keep going.
Right.
You're just pushing yourself to go 1 mile, but then after 2 weeks, and after like a month and after 2 months, you're like doing a 5K, and you're literally, I don't even have music on. I'm literally just in my thoughts, like thinking about through the day, thinking about stuff that I need to do, compartmentalize, like not really compartmentalize, but I'm processing things.
Sure.
Because all I have to do is I just have to put one foot forward in front of the other.
So is it like you're constantly, or obviously the goal is to just be able to start running, run all the way till you get back after you finish your set.
Right.
But for me, I feel like I'm going to run and then I walk and then I run and then I walk.
So how I started, and this is sort of piggybacking off something called Couch to 5K. But I didn't do that because they have a more regimented thing. Okay. My thing is for the first week, my goal was basically to run as much as possible. But don't push myself in a way. So I would run as much as I can, and then as soon as I was like, I'm about to pass out from running, I walk.
Okay.
But that's the thing that I time. I walk for a minute and a half.
Okay.
90 seconds. I have it. I have a thing on my watch where I just
click it and then
click it, and like I'll wait, and once it hits 90 seconds, I'll start running again, and I'll run as much as I can. And 9 times out of 10, it'll be much, much, much less than what you think it'll be. Then because if you could probably, a lot of people who are at our weight level can probably run for about a half mile before they feel like they can a quarter to a half mile.
Sure, I think.
But if you wait 90 seconds and you go again, you're barely going to be able to run a quarter mile.
Sure,
if you're just starting.
So,
and that's going to be the first week where you just do that, and you just set a goal, 2 miles. Starting and stopping, and then the next week you still do 2 miles, but you give yourself like
60
seconds. Okay. And the next week, 30. I didn't even need 30 because at that point I was running 2 miles.
Oh wow. Okay.
But this was running 3 or 4 times a day. Not day, 3 or 4 times a week.
Week. Okay. So are you like doing wind sprints or like running fast, or are you just?
Oh no, I'm just running. I'm just keeping the pace that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So.
It's it's my I can't really I don't know the width of it, but it was like the faster than jogging. Certainly. Okay. Sure. Where I was my fastest time I think was 8.5 minutes.
Wow, that's
for
awesome.
a mile.
That's really awesome. Yeah, I was always growing up. I was always like the 12 to 14 minute mark.
Yeah. No, when I was growing up, I was like 15-minute miles because I just walked because I'm like, oh, this is stupid.
Yeah.
But now, but it's like that was whenever I did a competition 5K, and that was whenever like I was sprinting.
Wow, that's awesome.
And I fell off the trail.
What do you mean you fell off the trail?
I was in my mind, man.
Oh, really?
And it was not the same trail that I run, which is basically straight and then a little bit of winding at the end. It just goes up a hill. This one was going down a hill, but it curves by a river.
Yeah.
And I literally, it was like the river and there's a curve and I just run straight off and I fall and I trip and fall and I get back up. One of the runners says, "Get it, you're in the zone." I said, "Yep," and I just kept running.
That's awesome. That's hilarious, but that's awesome.
Yeah. Oh no, it was fun. I was laughing about it and I just got back into the zone and I just kept running.
There you go. Wow. I feel like a piece of shit now because I need to
Don't
do
feel like
running.
that was over a year and a half ago. So
well, okay. So hopefully this weekend, because I don't know, especially now, I think it's a lot more difficult for me because I've made it more difficult. It's like
for me, it's a lot more difficult to restart now because I'm no longer I no longer have that time where it's like, oh, I can, because when I started when I was at school at that point, I got out every single day at 3:00.
Oh,
so at 4 I would eat an apple or I eat a snack, and then then from 5 to 6 I would run and then take a shower, eat dinner, and then do homework. So that was how I was.
Yeah, I don't know. I think I'm gonna have to just do it in the morning because for the biggest thing for me was just getting out of bed.
Right.
And it's so hard for me to get out of bed right now as is. So I feel like if I just had shoes, put the shoes on, not even with the shirt. If I'm wearing pants, that's fine. If I'm not, that's okay too.
I actually started whenever I moved. I set my charger to the opposite side of the room, and that's helped me wake up.
You see that the person I would never mind. Never mind. So, anyways,
okay.
Never mind.
The person you were
I was in love with. Never mind.
She would do that.
Yeah, she would do that.
Okay.
Anyways,
no worries. No.
But anyways, so
space.
It was a safe space. God, I totally derailed that whole thing.
So you're talking about that'll help you wake up in the morning.
Yeah. I don't know. So it's just if I can do that, I think that'll work.
I should probably start doing it again because I have a fun run in October.
A fun run.
So there's this thing called
I know what a fun run
Mudfest.
is. What is Mudfest?
Muckfest.
Muckfest.
It's for the MS Society, so multiple sclerosis.
Yeah, I'm familiar with that.
And one of my coworkers' mother has multiple sclerosis, so it's the sort of thing where we go out and we do a fun run, and it's
awesome.
It's through like a mud course.
Oh wow, that's even more awesome.
Oh yeah, no, it's a lot of fun, but I just want to make sure that I can actually pull myself up out of the mud. Were you about to say something else about running, or should I go to my next topic?
No, we can go to the next topic. I'll just real quick. I don't know. Every single time people talk about health and being active and blah 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 and whatever, I'm always just like, man, I should do something about it. But then my other brain is like, no, you're not going to do anything, you piece of shit. You're just
you lazy piece of slob. Go back to eating Cheetos off your belly.
Okay, I've never done that. Thank you very much. But even then,
I have one of my professors used to do that.
Are you serious?
He would stack Pringles on his belly and eat the Pringles off while reading papers.
Like he did this in class, or he told stories about it?
No, we would see him in his office.
Wow. That's okay. Next topic.
Okay. So speaking of science, because he was a science professor, and as
we totally like derailed.
And I'm now looping back to the science, and this is a quote by Richard Branson, because so you know who Richard Branson is.
It sounds familiar.
I said it before.
Give me a rundown of who he is.
Richard Branson, I'm just going to bring up a picture of him, and he'll probably know who he is.
See like that?
That is not. Is he here?
Yeah.
Oh, really? I should probably go say hi to him because I haven't seen him in a while. This is Richard Branson. He's the billionaire.
He looks now even more familiar.
He's the billionaire that owns Virgin Airlines.
That's right. You already said Virgin Airlines.
Virgin Atlantic, Virgin Money, Virgin Media.
Sure.
All that stuff. So he was quoted by something, and this is going with a lot of the science stuff, is that this is his direct quote.
Okay.
So I believe that in 30 years or so, we will no longer need to kill any animals, and all meat will either be clean or plant-based, taste the same, and also be much healthier for everyone. So within going into the science thing,
when did he say that?
This was a couple days ago.
Oh, okay.
So going within the science thing, this is something that I've kept an eye on for lab-grown meat.
Sure.
because it's sort of an interesting topic.
Of course.
And whenever a couple of years ago, when they successfully made lab grown beef, and a couple year, like last year, I think they made lab grown fish, meat. And I've always, I've talked to my parents about this and like asked them this, but would you ever, like, what is your opinion on lab grown meat? And then I'm gonna have a follow up question for what your answer is.
Fuck yeah, dude. I would eat that shit in a heartbeat. Honestly, at this point in my life, I've always loved meat. Fucking love some good ass steak, love some good ass chicken. But like, I don't know. The shit that animal rights activists have been putting out has been like, oh, that's interesting. Like, I'm never going to think about it when I'm eating it, because when I see the meat, I'm just like, I'm going to eat it.
Put that in my mouth.
Yeah, I need it in my mouth right now. But no, definitely, I'm so fascinated with the shit that we can do with science. Like,
right.
the extent that's within probably the last, 3 years or so, 3, 4, 5 years,
right.
that stem cell research has just, like, blown up. I'm all for it. So if some guy can just do a little drop something into a petri dish and then a burger just pops up, obviously not that extreme example,
right.
But if that can happen, I'm totally down for it.
Right. So now you are Jewish.
Yes.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Is that there are food restrictions for being Jewish?
Yes.
Do you follow them?
At a point, I did.
So that's not eating pork. Is that correct?
Not eating pork, no seafood.
Okay.
No unusual meats.
So here's my question for this.
No meat and cheese.
Here's my question.
No clove. It's real quick.
So it's sorry.
No, you're good. I was just no pork falls under the no cloved. You can't eat any animals with clove feet.
Okay.
Because it's disgusting and unholy, and God
okay.
made them clove feet because they're dirty animals.
So if they made lab grown pork,
yeah.
Do you feel like that would be something that religious people would be allowed to eat because it's not from a cloned animal, it's from a lab?
I think that's a really interesting concept because
especially when you're talking about halal and harem meats, like, because it's technically, since it wasn't ever killed in a certain way.
Right, exactly.
All lab grown meat would be halal because it's not. It wasn't like sacrificially killed or something like that.
I think that's a really interesting thought. Just because you're right, because even kosher and shit like that, the cows need to be blessed and everything like that. So, would you consider that lab grown meat? Would you consider that vegetarian? Or
that's the thing. I would consider it.
Or would you still consider it meat?
I would consider it meat, but I would consider it like how Richard Branson said, a clean meat, where you don't have the.
Well, so then my question, if you're familiar with it, unless we need to do a pause and a quick look up, because I'm actually really interested.
Okay.
Like, what's the components of it?
So I only know the components of fish meat.
Okay.
Lab grown fish meat, because that was something that. I had a friend who was doing her research on it, her undergrad research on lab grown fish meat. So the way it works is you start out with you have the stem cells.
Okay.
Or you have some sort of cell base that you start with. Okay. Usually it is stem cells, or it could be its own, a muscle cell of a fish.
Sure.
It has to come from something that is.
So it's still not, within the animal.
It's still from an animal.
Okay.
But it's usually something that can be reneged to regenerate and create something else.
Okay.
So you have it on this base layer of a biodegradable polymer.
Okay.
That acts almost like the backbone.
Okay.
And then it's literally almost in a way like 3D printing at the start, where you just you have, I'm pretty certain, the way you have it is you have basically you put stem cells in a certain arrangement.
Okay.
And then you incubate it, and then it
grows,
and you have to have it in a certain position, and you have to have it in and it has to be genetically altered, the stem cells, in a certain way so that it only grows the muscle of the fish. So you only get the
yeah, okay.
So
so then these stem cells that we're essentially harvesting, for
Right.
lack of a better term, this can be, you can take it from the animal without, ruining its day-to-day life.
Well, I mean,
Without.
the way it is they usually get it from fish eggs or stuff like that,
Oh, okay.
where you have thousands and thousands of fish eggs
Okay, so
per spawn. Like per spawn you have thousands of fish
Sure.
eggs, and only 5 or 6 or only a few dozen will hatch or something like that.
Sure. Okay. Well, and I don't
Okay.
know if I'm getting nitpicky.
No, keep going. I mean,
stop me if I'm getting nitpicky. So
I'm also certain. I'm not certain about a lot of this stuff.
no, and that's fine. But I mean, we can take it on base. So
Right.
Let's say
So I'm pretty certain that they use stem cells.
okay.
Or they
well,
use
no,
some
yeah,
sort- yeah.
we're going off stem cells. So if we're getting these stem cells from a full-grown fish,
Right.
versus getting stem cells from eggs,
Right.
I think I would be more, and prove our ignorance, people. Let us know. Hit me up if you know the actual answer to this, or we can just.
Do you have something where people can email you to?
Yeah, there's an email, and
Maybe you should plug that real quick.
email at the one more podcast @gmail.com. That's ONEON. Wait, one more. Whoops. Oh, start over.
Wow, you fucked up hard.
I was gonna say one more.
You should just have like a piece of paper.
Yeah, just be able to read it. ONEMORE podcast is PODCAST @gmail.com. And email us all of your responses. But anyways, so I think if we were take kind of like a parasitic relationship,
Okay.
where if we can successfully harvest from an animal or a fish or whatever, sure, we're going to take a chunk of their meat. But if that's viable enough to grow, I think I'd be more okay with that than taking it from the eggs.
So the way it is that,
or is it too late if
the way they have it is so either they will extract it from the egg or they will extract it from the fish.
okay,
If they extract it from the egg, they will not extract it just from one egg. That is for certain.
right,
They will get multitudes of stem cells. They'll genetically alter them, or they'll have some which will make more stem cells. So it could technically, in a fully efficient world, you could kill a single fish and feed the entire world with it.
okay. I think I'd be more okay with that. And so I forget if you were going into this or if you were alluding to it. So after killing this batch, let's just whatever you harvest this batch of eggs and you get enough stem cells to start doing this mass
To start
production.
making other stem cells and then making just muscle.
So yeah,
yeah.
So from there, after the initial batch, you can essentially self-replicate. I think you
Yes.
said so.
Yeah.
Okay, so you can,
I mean, there's always certain to a point where you'll have genetic code that will mess up.
and then you have to
Then you
go
have
back
to
to the
go
source.
back to the source, or you have to
Okay.
get something else. But from that, if you are talking about a full certain efficiency of it, you could probably make the same amount of, like, I'm going to just use big numbers, but probably 100 to 1,000 or 500 times more fish than you would get from like just from those stem cells. That sort of
Sure.
stuff.
Okay,
And that was the point, because it's the clean fish, because the amount that you are using to get that amount of meat is much cleaner in terms, if we're talking about cows and stuff, more cleaner to the environment,
Right.
more cleaner in terms of,
the purity of the beef.
purity of the beef and that sort of stuff, compared to if you get it from one cow.
Okay. I think, I don't know, bringing it back to a religious aspect,
Yeah.
I think you definitely have to adapt, and I'd be very, very curious to know how that happens, because, I mean, just within the past few years, the Pope said gay people are okay, or something like that?
I don't remember what he said, but he said something along the lines of everyone, God loves everyone.
Yeah, something like that. And so
I don't know if he implied gay
Well,
people
sure,
are also
but-
everyone, but
I think I forget, but if it takes that long for religion to accept people as it is,
Right.
I think the intricacies of what we're putting in our bodies, I don't know. I'd love to
well, see. Here's my final question about it.
Sure.
Because if it's a sort of thing that, like, if we're saying even in the far future, what they literally do is you just scrape scales off of a fish.
Sure.
Do that, it creates stem cells from that DNA.
Sure.
Because everything is impacted in your own DNA.
Right.
And then it just makes muscle, and it's literally you just do that, and it's like, oh, here's your fish powder, and you just put a little bit of that, and it makes a fillet.
Sure.
So, if that's the future for lab grown food, would you ever put your own skin cells and eat your own flesh?
But doesn't human meat taste bad though?
See, this was a question though that I've always that's not the answer I usually get.
Oh, okay.
Usually it's like a
No.
huh.
Well, no,
because
I mean,
the sort of thing is like you can eat human meat without killing anyone.
sure.
Would you ever want to know what human meat tastes like?
Well, and the only reason why I'm hesitant on answering that question is because I've read articles and I've seen.
I've heard it tastes like pork.
Well, not necessarily the taste, but you get poison from it.
You do get it's the sort of thing you get vitamin deficiency.
Right. Exactly. So,
But if I'm just talking about like
just someone
like no, if it's the sort of thing where it's just like oh hey, we have this machine where you just prick your finger, put a couple of drops of blood in it, and then within 30 minutes we'll give you your own meat fillet with rice and beans and some green beans like as a side. Would you ever?
I have one stipulation to that.
Okay.
Can I get it cooked medium rare?
I mean, it's the sort of thing where you have to cook it because it'll come out raw.
Then fuck yeah, dude. If I can cook this shit, okay, actually.
So you would cook. So yeah.
I would cook it medium and brown all the way, so I didn't taste any blood. And then if the consistency and the texture was to my liking, I would try it medium rare.
It would be the consistency of what you are, of your muscle.
Fuck, I don't know.
Of your muscle.
Well, then it'd be just fat. I would not eat that.
It'd be
at all.
A prime rib, man.
Dude,
marbled.
No, fuck that.
But honestly, we're getting into theoretical future stuff. But like the main question is if that does the thing you would eat your own.
Yeah, dude.
I would too. But I've had people where they're literally if it's usually the sort of thing where it's like if you won't eat the lab grown stuff, you certainly won't eat anything else that's from that. Even if it's like it's been normalized and standardized, and people don't even realize that cows used to be cut down, and so did chickens and stuff, and now they're just used to make their whenever they die, they grind their bones up, and that's what you use to make food.
Yeah.
But still, they're even like, why would you ever want to taste human meat? And it's like, well, because I'm not like the only thing. Truly, the only thing that has stopped other people, like 99% of other people,
is the law.
Is that you'd have to kill someone to get to have human meat.
True.
I feel like that's one of the huge things that stop people from because you have a moral sense of if I kill someone, I'm ending their consciousness.
I think your answer is better than mine. I'm thinking
because for me,
I'm not going to kill someone because I'm going to go to jail.
Right, but like the sort of thing where it's like. It would be if it was the sort of thing where you could cut off someone's arm. Sure. Like, because that certainly has happened where cannibalism is the last resort. Sure. But it's the sort of thing that's like, if I didn't have to kill anyone, I'd try human meat.
You definitely have to have an open mind to it. I don't know. For me, all of those kind of, and I say this, but I say it lovingly, all these zany questions about like what if the future.
Right. No, I mean, this is like that's the most theoretical because that was I was just trying. I was trying to go towards the question of would you ever eat human meat, and that was the
no, and I think that was well led to it. But all those questions are rooted in potential reality.
Right.
And so with me, fuck yeah, dude, I'm always down.
But even this is actually, I mean, this is happening right now. Not the human meat thing, but the
of course,
the meat grown in labs.
And give it 30 years, and we might actually have that.
Yeah.
And,
or the burger that I had for dinner was made by.
Okay. All right. Now, if you say you can have like a veggie burger, turkey burger, regular burger, a human burger, I don't know how I feel about commercializing it because whose meat is it?
See, that's not what I'm. No, but what I'm saying is like I wasn't saying like I wasn't saying like the burger is made out of humans. I'm saying like
no.
Yeah.
I mean, but like, would you be okay with commercial human burgers?
Probably not. No, I would just be just me because that was like if it's the sort of thing where it's like we took this blood and you can make a human thing. It's like, well, I know me. I'd be perfectly fine eating me.
Sure. Well, I mean, of course you're not gonna get a burger that has like herpes or something.
Right. No, but it's the sort of thing where it's like I know what if it's for I'm consenting to give my body to make this food.
What if they said this is 100% consent-free meat or consent-free?
We forced them to get this meat.
Pro consent and everything. Because
I don't know.
Obviously,
I'd still be.
Obviously, in this reality, we'd have to have federal regulations.
I'd still be.
I'd be OSHA certified.
I'd certainly still be wary.
Okay. All right.
Because I feel like I'd be perfectly fine doing it for myself.
Sure.
But I wouldn't feel comfortable having someone else's meat inside of me, and that's why I'm straight.
That's okay. That's a good point. I don't know if I want anyone else's meat inside of me.
That was bad.
I mean, you're right. And again, that's why I think I'm against the commercialization of human
What if you
burgers.
could just make dick? Like, let's just like, drop it and it's just a dick starts growing.
That's all right. Thank you. No, thank you. I mean, I'd be okay with like a toe or something. Dude, what if they had like chicken poppers, but like toe poppers?
But see, this is you have the toe inside of it.
What do you mean?
You'd have the toe bone.
No, they take that out.
Then they have the toenail.
No, you just be the toe. It looks like a toe just without toenail. It's for deep fried and everything.
So chicken nugget, basically.
Chicken nugget, but human nugget. That'd be good.
But humans don't. They don't have chicken proteins.
So you're doing this. It's like okay, why eat ice cream? There's like sugar and lactose in it and all sorts of other bullshit, but you do it because it tastes good. So they probably
right. But what I'm saying is that it won't taste like a chicken nugget, or it won't have the same texture as a chicken nugget.
Right. They don't call it a chicken nugget. They call it a toe nugget. Would you eat a toe nugget?
Would I eat a toe nugget? I don't know.
You want to eat human meat, man? I'm giving a human meat right here. Toe nuggets.
Toe nuggets.
Copyright.
10 for 10.
10 for 10 toe nuggets. Well, I don't know. Do you have any other topics that you're?
No, that was it. That was it. I think that was a good ending. Talking about growing a dick and toe nuggets.
That's good. No, I don't like that ending.
You don't like that ending?
I really don't. What if they had like?
I like that. That's a good. I
don't like that ending. We need to have a different ending.
That's a nice ending.
Have you ever eaten a sponge before? Be honest.
What do you mean, like a sponge?
Like just a sponge?
No.
Really?
No.
Never ever tasted it?
Never wanted to.
You've never been curious?
I mean, I've had a sponge in my mouth, but it's like
you're getting washed out because you said some dirty words.
No, it's like a clean sponge.
Oh, why was it in your mouth?
Because it was in my mouth.
So you had the inclination to eat it.
I never ate it.
Then why was it in your mouth?
Because I think it was something about trying to get water because I was dehydrated.
So the sponge had water and you were trying to suck it for water?
Yeah. Or it might have been a cloth or something like that.
Oh.
Because that's how
interesting.
They help you with dehydration.
Really?
Like that. Yeah.
Okay.
Something like that.
I don't know.
Or they stuffed a cloth. I don't remember.
Or you just had a sponge in your mouth and your mom came in and you're like, Keaton, what's in your mouth? I'm just trying to get water, Mom.
No, I don't. I honestly don't know. If I have, I repressed it because it was bad. But
it was just bad time, bad place,
bad juju.
No, I was dehydrated once, and I was a catcher, and I was playing baseball, and I like literally just toppled over because it was really hot.
Yep.
And I was wearing like long sleeve shirts and pants, and then
I did that. What's going on? I did that once where I was completely red and overheated. And
wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I probably could have died. I don't think I probably could have died. See, that's better. Dying from dehydration, that's a better ending.
Better than growing dicks?
God damn, why do you have to... I want like the last 60 seconds to not be...
Growing dicks.
All
okay.
Right. Anyways, that was the One More Podcast.
Thanks for having me again.
Of course, yeah, no, of course, dude. We'll have to, after this, get scheduling down and stuff like that. Because
I like this 2-person thing, though. It felt very intimate.
Well, it's good.
I just stared at your eyes the entire time.
Okay, people who until I start recording these sessions, we were like locked, dead eye for like a good chunk. I don't remember what sections we were talking about.
Yeah, but there was a long time where we literally just
like staring.
And it's not even like I can only see one of your eyes.
Oh, I was looking both.
I can only see because the way I'm sitting like this is I can only see one of your eyes.
That's true. So. But no, I like the two people. I feel like you're gonna get better stories / better chemistry with a larger group. So, but no,
it's always nice to have a little bit of a cool down.
That's true. I mean, it is what it is. But anyways, that's the end of the podcast. Hopefully we didn't gross you out or make you feel like shit or change your perception of who we are as people, because we are genuinely I'm genuinely a nice person. I don't know about Keaton over here. I'm just kidding.
I'm just Keaton.
I'm just Keaton. But yeah, that's the end of the show. Oh, lightning round.
Okay, sorry. Yeah, right. Lightning round. Okay.
All right.
Am I also gonna make a lightning round, or is it
no?
just
Yeah,
you?
if you want.
I really don't have one, but I'll think.
No, I'll try and talk while I'm thinking, and then you can do the same thing.
Okay.
Okay. You see, I have to need to just Google lightning questions.
Okay,
we're gonna Google it. All right.
You're gonna Google it. Okay, while you Google it, I'm gonna think about stuff, but I'm also gonna talk because it'd be weird to have
We don't
some
need just
silence.
Okay, honestly, the invention of Google and how often we use it nowadays astounds me.
Yeah.
I honestly thinking of a world where it's like, oh, we have to go to the library. Oh, we have to like ask someone who actually is knowledgeable on the subject. That's insane. But I don't know, dude. I literally, and I love how it's just we've coined the term. Hey, let's Google that. Hey,
Yeah.
let's.
And some people have tried to say, "Hey, let's Bing that," and it doesn't work.
Who says that?
Anyone who's licensed by Microsoft in a movie to say, "Hey, let's Bing that." That's the only time.
That actually is kind of hilarious.
Yeah. Got one yet? Because
Well, do you have one?
I don't.
I've been able to.
all I can think of are super morbid ones, and I don't want to end it like that.
That's good. I appreciate that you don't want.
Because it's the ones that are like the oh, would you rather die drowning or in a fire? And it's like, well,
Rather in a fire,
drowning or burning to death. It's like
burning to death.
It's like, oh, well, fuck you. I don't want to answer that.
No,
Neither.
I would rather burn to death.
Why? Drowning is a lot.
That's all. I'm scared of drowning. The fact that you have to like let the water in and die, it's just too much for me to handle. I'd rather just get hot, burned, and die.
That wasn't my question though, but
good. Would you rather
okay
hold the snake or hold 10 snails?
I used to have a pet snake, so I hold a snake.
I hold the snake. Okay.
Yeah, well, because I used to have a pet snake, so that's an easy question for me.
That was a really stupid one. Stupid Paul.
Also, 10 snails? That's like nothing. Either one is nothing.
Shh.
That's stupid. But these are all would you rather? I thought you were gonna do like a lightning.
Yeah, I know. I don't know, dude. I'm so unprepared. I need to just like have this like take a picture and I can just whip it out.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, here we go. Okay.
Oh man, now we're in. This might be something.
Yo, people have already clicked out.
They already ended it whenever we said thank you, and now this is the lightning round.
This is definitely. These are all stupid. Like,
okay,
hash browns or home fries?
Is there hash browns? They're not home fries.
No, like, would you rather?
There's a difference.
Yeah, sure. Apparently,
hash browns.
Jello or pudding? Why is this all food?
This is fucking stupid.
This is all food.
Just okay.
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 Family run or chain restaurant?
Family run or chain restaurant? Family run.
Okay, same here.
Cool.
All right, what's your question?
Everything's
all about food.
Yeah. Why'd you choose the one with food?
I don't know. Go ahead. This is a
okay.
really horrible lightning round. This is like a slow round.
If you were going on a long drive, would you rather listen to podcast or a radio album or like an album?
Album.
Podcast.
Okay, cool. All right, and that's the end of our show. Really appreciate it.
Thank you for listening.
This will maybe come out next week, I think. I don't know the upload schedules anymore, so
it'll come out when it's out.
It will never come out, and you'll never hear it. No, people will hear it. They have to have.
They must hear our voices. Only then will the ritual be complete.
All right, now people have tuned out. But yeah, thanks everyone. Have a good night.
Yeah, thank you. Good night.
Talk to you guys later.
Hey everybody, it is the end of the show. I know, very sad, but don't worry, there's going to be another episode. Hopefully. I don't know. Maybe I'll just give all this up just randomly for no reason. I probably won't do that. I've got a schedule to do. But anyways, just wanted to give another shout out to our sponsor today, Haven Cottage Investments. All right, these people know what they're doing. Sabrina Parker, she is a financial genius. All right, with flipping homes, managing homes, anything that has to do with securing your financial future, she's got you covered. So definitely give her a call, give her an email, 469-450-8855, or at havencottageinvestments@gmail.com. I'm telling you, you won't regret it. And remember, if you mention the podcast, again, you're going to get half off her commission rate. So it's like, why not? Because, look, young people need to move out of their houses, and they're going to need help. So give her a call. But anyways, just again, wanted to give another shout out. I really appreciate it. They're supporting me so that I can do what I want to do, and it's awesome. So again, her phone number is 469-450-8855, or contact her at havencottageinvestments@gmail.com. Really appreciate it. Thank you so much, guys. Have a great night, day, evening, whenever you guys are going to listen to the podcast. It's all good.